Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Let's get. Oh, and here's Evan. Hi, Evan. What time does the 2:30 show start?
I was at AJ Brown's press conference.
Okay, so were they. But anyway, Justin Hill was put on the Julian Hill.
Could never be just good news.
Yeah.
I do think that they kind of painted themselves in a corner where they really needed this player.
What do you mean?
Because I think they need him for the offense. I think that
How did they
had the
paint
number one
themselves in the corner?
if they didn't get AJ Brown. I mean, you don't have to fight me.
I just want to understand what you're saying.
Hey, Paul. Sorry for busting your balls the other day about the tweet.
Yeah, he was upset about it.
I'm in the vending machine upstairs.
You're in the vending
You were actually inside
Which I go often. By the way, that vending machine owes me a lot of money. I got a bag of kettle corn, and I tweeted it out. I got this big hunk of, I don't know what in it. I was going to bring it down, but I left it on my desk last night. The cleaning people said, we got to get rid of this, and they threw it out. Noon tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You going to make sure he keeps his pants on?
Yeah, I'm going to make sure he zips
Put him
up.
back on. They're probably not on.
No promises.
Willem is in Philem. What's up, William?
Oh, come on, William. You got to be happy. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Hey!
Finally made William happy.
We did it.
All right, Christmas in May. Oh, my God.
June.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium.
Boston Stadium, I think, Fred.
Boston Stadium. Yeah, are we allowed to say this? FIFA monitoring this podcast?
No.
Yeah?
Boston
So
Stadium.
it actually says in Google Maps, it now calls it Boston
Is that
Stadium.
right? They have a lot of clout, FIFA.
Yeah.
Using
Affecting Google
MapQuest
Maps.
to get to the stadium this morning yet? Is that-
I like to put it in just to know, traffic and how long it's going to take and all that kind of stuff. And
It's like Will. He needs to put the GPS on to get to work.
It's in my favorites, so obviously,
Good
so
work.
I hit Gillette Stadium, and then it pops up, and now it changes to Boston Stadium.
Wow.
There you go.
Mine just says work.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Well, you're not supposed to do that.
Dumb question.
Yeah.
Of course.
Why does FIFA demand to change the name? Is it just because Gillette is not a FIFA sponsor?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there some that didn't have to change their names
I don't
because
know.
they're affiliated with FIFA?
I
in some
don't
way?
know.
New York
So
Stadium.
maybe it wasn't as dumb a
perhaps.
question as I thought.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. But I know that overall, yes, anything that is not paying FIFA money is gone.
Yeah.
Including
Our access to the bathroom next door, which might be a problem, but it's all right. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, but we are now tenants in our own building.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
We have credentials that we have to wear that says tenant. So, anyway, that's enough of that.
Which I don't know if they know who you are,
You know who I am?
but I think that's
I watched the Revolution,
that's rather disrespectful.
Every
Turner.
American stadium that FIFA is using has to change their name.
Every one of them.
Wow.
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 Okay. All right, whatever. The first game is June 13th here.
It's coming
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
Scotland and Haiti? Is that what it is?
week from
I
Saturday.
believe that is correct.
Saturday. Yes.
Scotland. I'm rooting Scotland. I think.
Are you rooting for
my
Scotland?
ancestry, I'm
here we
mostly
go.
Scottish.
We're
Mostly
going to find
Scottish.
out.
So
like,
is Scotland-
Braveheart was based on the Defoes.
You know, William the Conqueror. That's my uncle.
Is Scotland any good?
No.
I don't.
Okay,
I've-
no. So if they were good, then Fred would root
So
for
I
them.
think one of the issues that I have with this World Cup is they expanded the field. So there's now 48 teams
Okay.
Oh.
in the World Cup.
And Italy still didn't qualify.
And Italy still didn't qualify.
Unbelievable.
So on top of the fact that there's now, it's not as hard to make the World Cup, it has watered down all the groups as well because there's more teams. So now getting out of the group doesn't really feel as difficult as it did before either. So I'm not a fan of
I heard
the
a
new
bunch
format.
of the Italian people went into the portal. They want to go to
So
other countries.
I will just tell you anecdotally from my week in Rome, people were not happy. They were not happy.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
It's a scuttlebutt on the street. You were
Yeah.
getting the pulse of Italy.
it's not a talent issue. That is that is a coaching organizational structure issue. I mean, Italy's not deprived of soccer talent.
Yeah, I even
So-
talked to one gentleman from Germany
Wow.
who was talking about how ridiculous he felt it was that Italy was not
It
qualifying.
is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Oh, you think soccer?
It's like
I think Italy.
It's like Switzerland not having a skier in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Canada, no hockey team,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Norway.
enough of that.
Norway. No,
I was thinking, kind of a Patriots-related thing. I was watching the Red Sox last night. Peyton Tolley.
Yeah.
He's Gronk if Gronk was a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like
Peyton Tolley may be, one of the very, very few reasons to watch that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both
Because,
him and
not just
Connerly,
because
really.
of his talent. I actually think Early's a better pitcher, but Tolley is like Gronk.
Yeah.
Perfect comp.
Yeah.
He's the whole package. He's entertainment and
And he's having
incredible
fun.
stuff.
Yeah.
He enjoys it being out there. He's kind of
Great stash.
yeah. Anyway,
Some hope.
Yeah.
good win by the Sox.
Good Red
last
Sox
night.
talk.
There we go.
All right. So
Soccer and
what do
Red
we got? We were a day out, 2 days out from having access.
Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit about Gabe Ackus and why that hasn't really been a point of questioning with Vrabes. What's
Yeah.
up with him? We haven't seen him. I mean, he was there at rookie minicamp watching. He wasn't in any uniform. But where is he? What's up?
Yeah. Normally, even when rookies, drafted rookies aren't signed, they still show up.
Yeah. And he's the one that we haven't seen participate. He's the only one left. So I assume we'll get that question. Talk to Vrabel Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. I'm sure it'll sneak its way into one of those press conferences. So
I'm not.
just curious.
I might have to take matters into my own
unless
hands.
I ask it, I'm not sure.
Because
what he asked.
I figured it would get asked both of the last times that we talked to him, and it hasn't been. I think that there's the Gonzalez situation. AJ Brown gets traded. There's other things that maybe are bigger, but they're not a lot bigger than the second round pick who at a position of need where you don't really have a ton of other options.
I go back to I think what Paul said, which was that he's the only guy you're really expecting something from this year of that draft class, that you really need something, and it's magnified without Landry being out there at practice as well. Where will Landry be when he gets back from rehab? Maybe he'll be fine, but I think Ack is important.
Yeah, you might have to bump Raritan up a little bit with the Julian Hill injury because he's probably number 2 now.
Yeah.
So that role might be bigger, but you have to be careful. I think you Mike, talked about this, you and Evan on Tuesday. Just, second-year tight end, if he's not ready for it, it's not necessarily in his best interest to give him a bigger role than he's ready for. But I would expect him to have a bigger role than I would have anticipated because of that injury.
Yeah. No, I think Ackus right now is probably the number one question other than Gonzalez with the team. Is it injury related, which is what Mike Reese, I think, alluded to somewhere. I don't know, on the Twitter sphere. I saw that. And obviously the Gonzalez thing is holding over everything. But this Ackus thing, I think, is a number 2 on the storylines list right now, is what's going on with him.
So with Gonzalez, too, and I know a lot of people, myself included, feel like, generally as you get toward minicamp and then maybe that dead period between minicamp and training camp, you start to see a lot of these things happening, right? You're starting to see a lot of these things happening now. This week, I think there were $400 million contracts agreed to in the NFL. Christian Watson today, I think Herbig for Pittsburgh was one of them. So there have been a couple of big money, and the one, and it happened during the show on Tuesday. I was sort of like, I know people don't like when we have our little side conversations, but Evan and I was showing him Patrick Surtain, agreed to a little slight adjustment to his contract that added to his total, which for Gonzalez is good news. For the Patriots is probably not great news because I think that's probably going to try to up his, I think Surtain is in that class, at the top of the cornerback chart, and he wanted a little bit more money knowing that these guys have started to sign since he signed. So he had a little bit of an adjustment. I think that's going to add to the bottom line to Gonzalez ultimately when he signs.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, is he going to be here next week? Is it going to be a hold-in? Is he going to be watching, maybe?
That would be my pick, would be he'll be here. He won't get himself fined, although the fines for minicamp aren't huge. But I think he'll be here, and I'm not sure how much he'll do.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't seen that secondary hole at all this spring because Carlton Davis hasn't been here either, and then Marcus Jones wasn't at the last practice that we were at, so we haven't really seen those top 3 guys. Not that they need a ton of time working together after working together all last season, but It'd be interesting to see if any of them are back doing what they're doing, all that stuff.
And then Chuck E. Cheese, Charles Woods, for those who don't know, was watching without
Yeah.
there without a helmet, but
Yeah.
giving some of those younger guys opportunities now. Maybe that jumpstarts some of them. Maybe a guy like Prunty getting snaps that he wouldn't have gotten. Maybe it helps accelerate his his development.
So
but
a
it's
lot
the
of
opposite
him and Kobe
Atkinson.
Minor.
Yeah,
at
him
the
and
end of the
Minor.
day.
Kendall Vildor.
Kendall Vildor's more of a veteran, but
Yeah.
you see, I think it's a good point with the young guys. Sometimes, like I always go back to OTAs. It's Malcolm Butler time. This is where he sort of got on the radar.
It's kind of the flip side of Akis, where you love him. I mean, we talk about it all the time with rookies. Like, you get behind the 8 ball. There's a weird random injury your first summer, and it's usually a fight to catch up. I think like that position maybe not as much as like the N'Keal Harry, where he's receivers missing camp and those reps and the timing and everything's so important. But one hand, you're giving other guys opportunities like Elijah Ponder and maybe Braden Swinson when he comes back. But at the same time, you just love to have that guy who you need probably to contribute this year right from the get-go.
And you just kind of need to know, I think, do you need to make another move at that spot? Not that you would get that out of the spring necessarily. That's probably something you'd find out more in camp. But if Landry is not in a great place and Akis is, behind the 8 ball and isn't quite ready for the start of the season, then do you make a call to the Giants for Kayvon Thibodeau? Do you look around the veteran market for Josh Sweat with the Cardinals, Thibodeau with the Giants? Like, do you make one of those moves? Because you kind of went out, the AJ Brown trade, like, you're all in. Like, you're all in, and you're mortgaging assets into the future for the here and the now, and you'd hate to be one edge rusher short when it all said and done.
Well, our friend Scott Zolak on his show was texting somebody, and Bertrand was grilling him. Who are you texting? Who are you texting? And he wouldn't say it. He had this smile like he's onto something. And Bertrand's like, is it what we talked about? Is it something And he wouldn't say. He goes, well, if it's what we talked about, then Patriots fans are going to really like it.
Oh.
And if you're worried about depth, this will take care of it.
Depth where?
Is what Bertrand said.
Was this today?
It might have been yesterday. Okay.
I know yesterday I was getting texts from other people that were asking me my thoughts because they felt like Zoe was sort of alluding to the fact that Diggs could return.
That's what I was picking up too.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is the same
Does he play
conversation
edge?
or not.
Right.
Or depth. Yeah.
Depth?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bringing
this
Diggs
would
back?
this would be more than depth. This would be
Frontline player. Yeah.
Traffic jam.
I mean, maybe that's the case. I don't see it. I think you got what you needed out of Diggs last year. I don't think you need to have him now in a logjam with Dobbs and with Brown. I don't know. I think that ship has sailed. But maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know what the depth means. I mean, we're already trying to figure out what you're going to do with Keyshawn Boutte. Now we're talking about, well, what are you doing with Pop Douglas? What are you going to do?
Well,
you know,
unless
with Kyle
Bertrand was
Williams?
saying depth in a sarcastic way. If you're worried about depth, this will certainly take care of that.
Yeah, I
Feels
don't know
like
if that's
fantasy football to me.
Yeah, I don't know what they were talking about. That's, to me, that would be what people are clamoring for is a fantasy lineup.
Yeah.
And I always say I don't rule anything out because there's been too many times over the years that I was like, there's no way that's going to happen, and it happens.
Yeah.
There's no way the Dolphins are going to just release Tua because that's too. No, these things happen. Every time you think it's not. Russell Wilson was able to get out of Denver. Somehow they traded Deshaun Watson. Like there's a million different examples of it. So I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I would be surprised. I just don't know how it works with three guys, arguably garnering 100+ targets,
Right.
or wanting anyway. They've added over 200 targets from last year.
Interesting.
And they subtracted just really, as of right now, counting Boutte in, just Diggs is 100. So you've added 100+
It's a
targets
good stat, Paul. I like
from
that.
last year. I know you think I'm just a pretty
being
face.
all of a sudden you bring stats out. I'm like, that's a really good one, though.
Okay, so
He sounds so surprised.
He must have been talking to Bedard.
you, Evan.
Well,
I
usually, Paul,
appreciate that.
usually he tees it up and he's like, I just want you all to know I did a little research today. I've got a stat I'm going to provide.
I did
He was
homework.
talking to Bedard.
I wrote on the back of the
my
envelope.
numbers are right.
So I get
say
made
that
fun of
again.
for
Say
looking
that
at
again.
depth charts.
All right,
I'm
so
unbelievable.
attention,
last
everybody.
year Diggs had 102 targets.
Right.
Okay, so you've lost 102 targets, but you've added 121 from A.J. Brown and 85 from Romeo Doubs. So you've added 200 targets from last year, and you subtracted 100, just round numbers. Okay. I kind of started this with Booty in mind, because Booty had 46 targets last year. Where does he get his targets? How does that number rise? How do we get him his money?
Yeah.
How do we pay the man his money? Right? It's going to be hard when you're adding targets.
Right.
And when he didn't get targets last year with far less targets, right?
So
that's where. So now, if you're going to, again, Mike Giardi reached out to me. Is like, what are you hearing about Diggs? I hear Zoe talking a lot about Diggs. Are you hearing anything? And I was like, no, I'm not. But so now you're going to put those 100 targets back in there with Brown. Brown's going to get 100 targets. Okay. I'd be very surprised if Dobbs doesn't at least match the 85 that he had last year. Where are all these targets going to come from? You want to run the ball more, so you're not going to throw it as much as you did last year.
Right.
Well, what if the number of offensive plays the team has increases because they're just a better offense and they're matriculating the ball down the field and possessing the ball longer? I don't know. That doesn't make up for all of it. But it could add to more offensive plays.
It's a mitigating factor for sure. Maybe
Unless
they're
they're
better. I
explosive.
think they were really good last year offensively, and
Yeah, no, they were good.
I just don't see, like, this started again with Booty, and we were making the point that we could understand. And by the way, I think Adam Schefter is the first one to actually report that Booty wants a trade. He said that on one of his various podcasts in the last couple of days. I can understand if that's what he feels. If Booty's feeling, I had 46 targets last year, and I don't see a road where I'm going to increase that number significantly, and I need to show everybody that I'm capable of catching more than 33 passes. Right?
Yeah.
And I think he looks at it as New England's not going to be that place for me because I don't have a road to get the targets.
Yeah.
I just wonder what Diggs, last year he was only a 55% snap rate guy, and we all kind of chalked that up to him coming off the knee injury and then managing him throughout the season. But in theory, that's a third receiver's workload. And so if you assume that Dobbs and A.J. Brown are your base receivers, those are your two top guys, is Diggs okay with just being the third fiddle snap count wise again, and you get everybody on the field? Now, this is a question of personalities and all that kind of stuff. Throw to the open guy. And, and if Diggs is the open guy on that play, then he gets the ball. If A.J. Brown's the open guy, now, is that going to spread the targets around enough that everybody is satisfied and everybody's happy? I don't know. But, from a football standpoint, it does work. Like, you have an outside receiver with A.J. Brown, you have more of the flanker with Romeo Doubs, and your slot receiver is Diggs.
Yeah.
And so, it's not like it doesn't work from an X's and O's standpoint.
He's
a personality
He's a really
standpoint.
good player. Like, Diggs,
Yeah.
Diggs had a good season for them last year. I do think that he tailed off badly. I have numbers on that, too. We'll get to that later.
The second half.
He came from armed today.
But,
I like it.
Well, because, like, you get, like, a game thrown in your face. Like, I guess I was wrong. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, though, is just, Evan, you made the point on Tuesday's show of that not the fastest lineup. And if you're putting Diggs into that and you're pulling back on Douglas and Williams, you're now pushing more of the speed down the depth chart a little bit. That's part of it, too. And, I want to make sure that Romeo Doubs signed a 4-year deal. I want to make sure that he gets on the same page as Drake May and that he becomes that guy that Diggs was. And if you're always kind of playing half in, half out with that, does that relationship have a chance to develop and thrive?
I think that's the biggest question. It's not necessarily does the pieces fit together, because I think that they can easily fit together.
It's not a talent issue.
And it's not like a redundancy issue either. Like, I think that those three guys could play off of each other, but you're putting Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown into the same locker room, and can you handle that? And is that what's best for the football team? I don't know A.J. Brown. I haven't been around A.J. Brown. We were around Diggs all of last year. He's a personality. Like, it is what it is. Like, he's a star receiver in the NFL, and from what you hear, that's kind of A.J. Brown is also an alpha. So, like, now you have two alphas in the wide receiver room, and is that what's best versus, having AJ Brown is the top dog and Romeo Doubs is the number 2, and everybody's roles are kind of defined and make sense, and everybody's happy and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't worry about it from an X's
Has
and O
anything
standpoint.
broke while we've been talking?
I don't think so.
Because I have one email that says, "With Diggs coming back," I look.
No.
I
No.
just want to make sure we're not saying he's coming back.
No.
We're not saying that.
I
Saying we
didn't.
think Zoe thinks that maybe.
Wait, no, we're not even saying
I'm not even
that.
saying that.
Yeah.
We're not even saying that.
Yeah.
No.
So just yeah.
Well, that is the thing right now under the, that everybody's probably wondering. I mean, probably other spots that make sense. I will say, though, I think it makes probably more sense to me, at least from all this stuff, to have Diggs rather than Booty. You know what I mean? Like inserting Diggs with Brown and Dobbs seems to be a little bit more easier football fit than,
Diggs is a better fit for the reasons Evan said. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I just all it comes down to is whether or not you think that they can play nice in the sandbox, and is there enough targets to go around, and can you keep everybody happy, and all that different type of stuff is a big question that I don't think we can really answer. Like the coaching staff's been around AJ Brown a lot more than we have.
It's definitely would be a good problem to have football wise. But like you said, they brought in Gilliam. They've said they want to run the ball more consistently and just more. So again, where are those targets going to come from?
Yeah, I mean those are all football questions, and they're they're significant. My bigger concern would be I think you got everything you could have possibly hoped for out of Diggs last year, and I think Diggs is a great player. I used to argue with Mike that Mike was unfair to Diggs' ability, back when he wasn't a Patriot. Then when he became a Patriot, then Mike was
I
on
had to
board.
bite the bullet on that one. Yeah.
Mike was with us then. But I just think this is his pattern. Like, he works in small, short doses. He's not the play. Like, I think that you put up with him in Buffalo for years because he's 1,500-yard guy. When he becomes a 1,000-yard guy, you move on because he's just like all the other guys now. So that to me would be my biggest concern is A.J. Brown is not only an alpha, but he's unabashed in speaking his mind.
Right.
I don't think that's a great mix with, even if A.J. Brown wasn't here, I wouldn't necessarily want Diggs back. I think you were rolling the dice with him last year, and I think you got out at the perfect time.
So here's a question I have about Diggs in the locker room. Was he the alpha in Houston and in Buffalo? Because what I'm trying to get at is, did he see a need for that here because of the youth of the wide receiver room, and did he step up and take that role? Did he have that role in Houston and Buffalo?
He was a captain in Houston.
Yeah. Okay.
1 year in Houston, and he wore the C. So he was a captain in Houston, and I guess in Buffalo towards the end, it sounds like that started to materialize, and he started to try to be more of a vocal leader and stuff like that as that process wore on. But I guess I think Paul's point about kind of getting out of the Diggs business before it blows up on you is like maybe where I'm kind of at with it, where you got what you needed out of Diggs last year. It was a good season out of him. It was a good season for the team. But do you want to take that chance again that it's going to work out, that he's going to be?
Yeah. And then if it's one of those risk reward things. Like, again, if I'm going to get the 110 catch, 1,500 yard, 9 touchdown guy, that's worth the risk. What's the ceiling? Like if Evans, let's say Evans' whole offense unfolds, so you've convinced Diggs he's going to be okay being third banana, and everything works great. So he's going to be the third option, get maybe 70 catches, maybe he approaches 1,000 yards, and that looks great. That'd be great. All of a sudden, your offense is like damn near unstoppable. Mm-hmm. That's the upside. But to me, the downside is so much more damaging than what that would provide. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think you could have a lesser slot guy, but have much better chances of everything, sort of coexisting. Like, what of Mac Hollins? Like, Mac Hollins is a guy that was in that mix with the targets last year. He had about 65 targets last year. Is he just a nothing now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, I think those kinds of things should be part of the equation here. Like, how is this going to impact the roster? It's not. You're going to make fun of me right now, and you deserve to make fun of me because I'm going to be hypocritical. It's not about the best 53. It's about
We're
the
building
right
a team, not
53.
collecting talent. Is that what you're
In
saying?
this case, when you have talent,
do you just believe in Santa Claus again?
yeah.
Haymaker.
I'm down.
In this case, it's not a question of talent. It's a question of what kind of talent.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I mean,
personalities,
Is there,
like-
is there
yeah.
something we said
just
that
would worry
a
about
year removed from the ACL that maybe you didn't even have the digs that you might have this year, and that he loved it here, and he realized what a special place this was, and he really loved Vrabel and
There's a lot.
Josh,
These
and
are all the
I
upsides.
just want to come
I
back,
allow for
baby.
all of
I
that
don't
as
These
being
are
a
all the
possibility.
upsides.
now that now that AJ's
yeah.
here, I don't have to speak from my locker every Tuesday. I can take a little bit of a step back. The pressure isn't quite as on me the same way.
I mean,
I love Drake. I don't know.
I don't know
talking
what
myself
I,
into it.
I honestly don't know what you do. If they have AJ Brown on one side, they have Romeo Doubs and Stephon Diggs on the other side. They have a running game. They have Drake May at quarterback. Like, I don't know how you stop it.
Good luck.
Like, that's a 30
Well,
points per game offense.
If your offensive line sucks, that's how you stop it.
Well,
Even if
no.
the offensive line stinks, I don't know how you stop it.
I agree with Evan. Football-wise, I don't know how you stop it, but I'll tell you how it gets stopped if it does.
It's by them.
It gets stopped internally.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
and I think that's a very legitimate worry.
And right now, from what we know of AJ Brown, we've heard that he's an alpha. We don't know. Haven't been around him enough. And Romeo Doubs seems like kind of like a quiet guy.
Great mix.
And so, like, right now, everybody kind of has a role. They understand their role. They have a hierarchy that makes sense. This would throw a wrench in all that kind of stuff. Like, Romeo Doubs knows who he is. AJ Brown knows who he is. Mac Hollins knows what he's supposed to do. Kyle Williams knows what his role is. Like, and then, yeah, I think Kyle Williams knows.
He's trying to figure it out. I just love that we literally signed AJ Brown 3 days ago, and we're already back to do we need another receiver?
It never ran. No, I was just like,
I don't think
the
it's
moment
that
we signed AJ Brown and that was done, we were on to Thibodeau.
right.
I think, he's unsigned. And this is a guy that had 1,000 yards
I know,
last
but
year.
it's like-
doesn't have a
It
contract.
was like, okay, what's next?
This is always shiny thing.
Well, yeah.
What's next?
Does anybody have any pause in the fact that he's unsigned?
Yeah.
Or am I the only one that
I
thinks
thought
that
as
way?
soon as his legal case was settled
Yeah, me too.
in court, I thought that he would be signed pretty quickly. Now that the AJ Brown trade has happened and he's still not getting immediately signed is surprising. Just for example, I have no idea why the Kansas City Chiefs aren't. Why is he not already a Kansas City Chief? That to me makes no sense to me whatsoever. Looking at their wide receiver room, what's going on with Rashee Rice, this seems like an automatic thing for them, and yet they don't seem too eager. So what's going on is, Barth brought up the point yesterday. Does he just not want to do this part of the offseason because he's a veteran player, and that tends to happen? The Patriots signed Zeke Elliott 2 weeks into training camp because he didn't want to do training camp.
Yeah.
So is there a chance that he's saying, yeah, I'll sign, but I'm not going to sign until the preseason because I don't want to do the dog days of training camp? Is that possible? I guess maybe, but it is weird.
So interesting, but again,
Yeah,
we're not saying
28
anything's
minutes out of
happening
that.
along these lines. Before we get any further, Matt, do you have next week's schedule? Because off the top of my head, I know I'll get it wrong. So I just want to make sure we get that out there a couple times during this show so people know.
I have it. Let me just pull up the exact email.
Okay. Because I want to get that out there.
Have you
is
made
our-
any?
our-
Have you made a definitive
our-
decision?
No.
Do you want me to read them to you?
Yeah, right now, what is it?
Tuesday, Patriots Unfiltered, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay, so 11 to 1 on Tuesday.
Wednesday, Catch 22, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
After practice.
Okay.
Thursday, Patriots Unfiltered, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 3 to 5 p.m. You haven't decided
God,
yet.
now we're going to
Okay, so we're talking about that, and maybe we can let the fans weigh in. If we go 11 to 1 on Thursday, we can only talk about Tuesday and Wednesday's practices,
Yeah.
which isn't the worst thing. If we go 3 to 5 on Thursday, we'll be coming from the last practice of minicamp.
Right.
Yeah.
And we also will be doing, I think Mike, Evan, and I will get together following all 3 days or just the third
I
day?
think
and a
we're going to
half.
do the 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday.
Following
so-
Tuesdays and Thursdays practice, we're going to do what we
Our
would
camp
normally do
cast.
for our trading camp
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
sort
so
of
that's a factor.
summation.
So if we get it 11 to 1 on Thursday, it wouldn't mean that you wouldn't hear from us, or at least from Paul and Mike, what happened in practice on Thursday. They would still do something afterwards. So factor that into your decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe keep a poll, Paul. Get that going.
A lot of polls over there from you today.
I'll have a little poll going over here.
Yeah, I think. No, we might do like just a little on-field thing on Wednesday because I think Wednesday's practice might be a little dialed back and
I didn't know if we wanted to bring that up, but
yeah.
that was why the Thursday morning. Like, I don't know how much Wednesday's practice.
Yeah.
How active Wednesday's practice is going to be, and then, so then we're really kind of talking about Tuesday.
And if you're wondering, in the past, whether it was Belichick or Gerard Mayo, whoever, sometimes the third day of these mini camps, they either cut it short or cut it out completely. I doubt they'll do that this year since they've lost a week.
Yeah.
They've moved up minicamp from 2 weeks from now until next week because of World Cup. They're not going to be here after next week. So essentially they've lost, a spring week.
Yep.
So
They
they
lost 3
probably
days,
won't cancel that third day.
Yeah. Did I see San Francisco cancel their mini camp?
A lot of teams have canceled minicamp. Well, I don't know about a lot.
It's weird because
but-
it's real football, right, Paul? I mean,
I mean that's just some
The
would argue.
Rams are doing theirs in Hawaii. I can't imagine that's like really a work
Hawaii.
trip.
Can you imagine?
Fred, you got to get on.
Can you
that.
imagine? Why aren't we going to Hawaii? Like, Patriots are live
Because
from Hawaii.
it's 12 hours away.
Why are they doing that?
We all have
Just for
lays
fun.
on. I mean, I can see it,
Just
right?
for fun. It costs a lot of money.
I don't know why they're doing it, but it's it's awesome. I would love it. Oh
Yeah.
my
How about
god.
just Cape Cod? We'll just
There
go
must be
to the
some
Cape.
sponsorship involved.
I don't know the particulars. Oh yeah,
Cape Cod
Hawaii,
Beach.
Cape Cod, same thing.
We'll do it at the DY football stadium.
Yeah. Martha's Vineyard High School. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that, but I heard that they are. That I think that's confirmed.
They teamed up with Hawaiian Tourism Authority to boost island tourism and engage with local
There you
community.
go.
There you go.
There's
Well,
always money involved.
engage
What about
with local
Massachusetts
community.
250? Can we?
Yeah,
They're gonna do a luau.
Meet Boston.
Engage with local I went to a luau once. It's fun.
I'm in. Luau.
Cool. They roasted the pig and
Roast
everything.
the pig. Hmm.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right. We got a lot of emails coming in, a lot of calls. Everybody's excited. It's a Thursday in the off season, but the news keeps coming out of Foxborough.
The news keeps coming out of the whole league, and this is like the NFL
It's
is
been
just
an active week.
what
Yeah.
a juggernaut.
I
Like,
left
it
out
just-
Drake London's extension. I was
Drake
talking about those
London,
$100 million extensions.
and Darnell Washington
he's
signed
another
one too, not $100 million.
Yeah,
but
his was a smaller contract, but there's been 5 or 6 guys that were extended in the last 2 days.
I mean, this June 1st deadline it's like another mini trade deadline. Like if you have AJ Brown and Miles Garrett get traded on a day, like
That's good.
Right.
Yeah, so another news cycle.
It's
Another
always in the news.
always something.
855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast@patriots.com is the email address. Let's go to the phones. Anthony's in Seattle. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, Fred, what's up, my people? How you guys doing?
Okay.
Doing great.
Hey, I was prompted to call in today. I got to tell you. So, Deuce, we're continuing to have fun. You were on this first. Man, Tuesday's episode, there was an excitement. And, like, I know you guys are professionals, but you're also human. And I could hear, like, the excitement. And it was just like, you guys were, like, borderline giddy. And I just thought, like, there's been a growing excitement ever since Vrabel has come and he started to make moves and everything. But I felt like it all kind of was encapsulated on Tuesday's show. And then, like, hearing from Eldred and then hearing from Willem. Willem was outright giddy. I mean, the guy, I'm, like, laughing. I'm like, this guy is giddy. So this is awesome. One thing that I started kind of thinking about, and I'm curious if you guys feel the same, is we've, basically since Vrabel has come and they've started to kind of rebuild, we've all kind of alluded to it in some way or another, looking at, like, if this team can continue to build, have a couple good off seasons, that ideally we were looking at kind of the 2027 Patriots as that kind of quote-unquote true contender. We all felt like, last year was a, Cinderella run. It was ahead of schedule. Even, like, though they got to the Super Bowl, you still felt they were, that was a little bit kind of quote-unquote fool's gold. But I'm looking at it now, and I'm having to adjust my thinking with, like, the addition of Byard, even if that's a one-year deal. That's a huge upgrade. You got the offensive line on paper. Drake May, year 2 under Josh McDaniels, first time having back-to-back offensive coordinators. All these things, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think I need to look at the 26 Patriots as that. I think the window is open now, and that quote-unquote true contender. And I mean, maybe they'll be even better in 27, but I think I'm looking at the 26 Patriots that way now that I was looking at that hypothetical 2027 team. Curious to know how you guys are feeling. That's all I got. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, what Evan, didn't you say you think he's the best roster in the AFC?
I mean, I don't. The Ravens and the Bills right now are the two favorites ahead of the Patriots from the betting odds from the Vegas folks, and then the Chargers and the Patriots are like neck and neck as for the third spot, which I find interesting. Like, I guess that's maybe just about the quarterbacks and MVPs and whatever, but yeah, it's right up there. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday, and I think Denver deserves a seat at that table too, probably.
Denver is way less respected than even the Patriots are. And I would actually, for one of the few times, would actually agree with Patriots fans right now feeling a little bit slighted because of some of the stuff that Evan said. But, like, I don't know if you saw the whole FPI thing that ESPN does, the Football Power Index.
Wiggy was all over that this morning.
Now, I'm not going to lose my mind over it, but 14th?
Right.
14th? Like, Dallas is ahead of them?
Well,
Like,
Bills were number 2.
Yeah, so, like, I don't... This is not a Buffalo thing. I think Buffalo's talent has dropped, and people haven't really necessarily come to grips with that. But 14 to me seems, you want to put Buffalo ahead of New England, fine, but there's 12 spots difference between those two teams that
They
played
hate
twice
us.
last year. I would say if you're feeling a little slighted as a Patriot fan based on some of that stuff, I could understand it.
That's fine.
How do you guys approach the Ravens and the Bills changing coaches? I mean, I'm trying to think of another example of, maybe John Elway, where, a star quarterback kind of changes regimes in the middle of their career. How much uncharted territory are we in with the Bills and Ravens? Is this, a minor bump in the road? I mean, the Ravens had such a personality under Harbaugh. You knew exactly, and they had their ups and downs, but they certainly have been a really good team, at least in the regular season for the past few years. And the Bills, talent dropping a little bit, but I just feel like there's such a large element of unknown, and maybe it's not a big element of unknown, but with the coaches changing, I just don't know if the whole vibe of these teams is going to change.
They changed, but they're from the tree. Jesse Minter was in Baltimore.
Evan, you're thinking exactly on scheme right now, and I'm just talking general personality.
I know, but I would just say
the personality of the coach trickles down.
But it's all this. But they're all from the same tree. So like they're all like I don't like.
But
they're
when
all
John
getting,
Harbaugh stands up and says a message
Matt
versus
Patricia's from
Jesse
the
Minter.
Belichick tree.
No, I'm saying that I think
Really, I think you just owe him a thank you. I mean, what are we doing, Fred?
I'm talking about when he went to Detroit.
I know what I know.
I just am like I don't. Maybe with Joe Brady, it's a little bit different. But I don't really look at Jesse Minter and John Harbaugh as very different, like in terms of their demeanors and their personalities. If we want to do that whole thing.
Well, but if you're a player, and Harbaugh, who has had success and won Super Bowls, and now I'm looking at the defensive coordinator from the Chargers. I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying that they're not
your
going
phrase.
completely out of the family. Is my point. Where like they're totally reinventing their programs. Like Jesse Minter is just kind of a younger, more innovative version of John Harbaugh. And Joe Brady is just like an offensive mind, but he was with Sean McDermott and under Sean McDermott. And so like if they had went completely outside of the family and were sort of trying to redo the whole thing, then I would be like, okay, that's different. But the GMs are the same people. Both of the coaches had coached underneath the previous coach. So like it's not like it's like a complete departure from the Baltimore way or the Buffalo way or something like that, where they hired a completely different type of guy.
Yeah, I think the GM part of that is relevant because I do think both teams have sort of stayed true to their identities that they've had for good, better or worse. But I like the phrase that you used about like there's an element of unknown there. Like absolutely there is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now
maybe better. I don't know. I'm
exactly.
not
How does
has
it go?
To be worse. Yeah.
Does it go like it did for Chicago and New England last year?
Right.
Or does it go like it did for one of the teams that hired a new coach and
For the Patriots,
Aaron Glenn?
Yeah.
Like, does it go the way it did for the Jets? Like, there is an element of unknown because there's no
Always.
way to know for sure how a team is going to, how. I agree with Evan that Jesse Minter in particular, I think, is kind of cut from a similar cloth as John Harbaugh. Had the Michigan ties from his brother. I think that they probably are like-minded. He's never been a head coach. sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes those guys get in front of the team and they don't really command the room the way they did as a coordinator.
That's what I saw this
There
morning.
is an element of unknown.
I saw a behind the scenes mic'd up of him talking to the team, Minter talking to the Ravens, for the first time, and that's exactly what I thought. It's just this is a huge opportunity for me, and talking about being excited and all that, and you realize how different it is from this guy is now, what was Harbaugh there, like 17, 18, almost 20 years, right? Like walking in with that presence of this guy's been here, he knows what, he has a way that as or a special teams guy, I guess, but how does he talk to the offense? How does Minter oversee the offense? Is that different? Does he have input? Does he not have input?
Right.
Always dangerous from
How
afar.
organized is he?
Like to make these, you're watching from afar and you're making these sweeping generalizations. I would say I'd be surprised if this is not a positive move for Baltimore specifically, because based on the stuff that was coming out of Baltimore last year, there was a lot of unrest with John Harbaugh. I think it had sort of run its course.
Yep.
I think he's probably a good move for the Giants because I think he gets to sort of reset and refresh that message. But I think he had grown stale in Baltimore, and there was a lot of stuff that was coming out about players not being happy with the way he was doing things.
Oh, listen, the way he handled the game we played against him by not using Henry
Thank you.
Come on. One thing that Anthony from Seattle said that I totally agree with is on Tuesday, we were a little giddy. And the last time I think we were that giddy about an offseason transaction was probably when they signed Cam Newton. Remember that? And I know it didn't work out.
I don't even know him anymore.
But do you remember that?
I totally
We were all like, oh my God, we just signed
Mike, do you
Cam
remember when we
Newton.
told Eric?
No. He's like,
On
who?
the air?
And I'd say not specific, but in 21, the overall volume of guys that they brought in
we
was,
had to
was
have a
exciting
special
too, but
podcast for that.
I
Yep.
kind of made a special point of making sure I voiced my excitement because I feel like my instinct sometimes is to play it down the middle and, not get too, but
That's the job,
and
man.
Paul makes fun of me about A.J. Brown and A.J. Brown has been one of my favorite, if not my favorite receiver in the league since he came in. It's my kind of guy, and that's why
I didn't make fun of you about A.J. Brown.
Well, now, like that. I always talk about not wanting the number one receiver and stuff. Well, A.J. Brown is my favorite one. To get
mock
that
us.
guy,
He's your favorite 1-1?
He mocks
he's my
us.
favorite number one. And so to get him, even at this point where maybe it's not the pinnacle just right now, but I go back to what Josh said because it was kind of the same feeling I had. He's just such a physical presence out there. He's going to bring a vibe to this team that I think they already kind of had a little bit, but he's going to continue to put that forward. Like they're going to be tough to play against. I mean, it's just every time I pull up old A.J. Brown clips, it's like, some guy trying to just like give him the old two-hand and push him out of bounds. Like, nope, he's going, like, you cannot take any plays off with that guy. So I went out of my way to make sure, like, voice my excitement because I do think this is a really exciting move.
Yeah. Let's go to Christian in L.A. What's up, Christian?
Guys, hey, you guys. So my message today is not for you guys.
Uh-oh.
It's for Mike Vrabel and Elliot Wolf.
Oh, boy.
Get back on the phone, Elliot. Get back on the phone.
Okay, relax.
Why do you think he's not on the phone?
Listen to me. There's Kayvon Thibodeau's out there. Go get him. They're dangling him. Kyle Pitts is out there. Go get him. They're dangling him. I mean, I get it. When you make a big trade, everybody gets giddy and happy. It's a big success. Hey, my company, Waste Me, the personal assistant app, just put a huge billboard on 43rd and 3rd in Times Square. We're not satisfied. We're not stopping. So I get the giddiness of getting A.J. Brown, but what I don't get is stopping the push to make us the best team possible.
Who says they've stopped?
Go get Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why are you so upset? You're upset about something that hasn't happened yet.
We are not in talks with Kayvon Thibodeau. We're not in talks with Arizona about Montez.
Your sources tell you that, Christian?
How do you know?
Yes, I'm reading ESPN this morning, and they're talking about other teams being in talks and in contact about Kyle Pitts, Montez Sweat, and Kayvon Thibodeau. Why are we not in those talks? Why didn't they mention New England?
So you're saying that ESPN has it 100% right? There isn't a chance that we haven't picked up the phone?
I think when they report certain teams talking to certain teams about certain players, they probably had some insight.
So did you? So did they know? Did they know that Myles Garrett was going to the Rams?
I think that was a blockbuster surprise trade, right?
Of course.
I don't see a blockbuster surprise trade for Kayvon.
Well, it wouldn't be a blockbuster. But my point is, they don't know everything. Sometimes teams keep things under wraps. So, listen, if if they weren't picking up the phone and lifting every rock, you'd have a right to be upset. But we don't know that they're not doing that, and I think they are. I think they.
Why didn't we report? Why didn't we report that the Falcons are dangling Kyle Pitts? Why isn't that part of Patriots news? Like, okay, we're going after these guys. We're going after that guy. Or is it that they keep everything on the hat until the last minute?
I don't know, but I think you're getting upset about things that we don't know for sure is a fact.
Do you think Kyle Pitts is a
I just
fit?
wanted to get back on the phone.
Just out of curiosity,
All right,
do
thanks,
you think?
Christian.
Never mind. Sorry.
I mean, that's fine. He had to
up.
come up with something to be upset about and bring it to the show. That's fine.
I don't need Pitts anymore. I mean, I would have probably taken a look at him early in the
Yeah, I'm
offseason,
not
but with
upset
Raritan
at the
kind of
call.
in there, yeah.
Do you think he's a fit? Like,
don't
you
think
have a
so.
pass-catching tight end, you're going to bring another pass-catching
and
tight
you
end.
got
Now,
anyone.
I'm not going to say that he's maybe not more dynamic than Hunter Henry. Of course he is.
Yeah.
But is that what you need, or do you need a guy that's a little bit more physical
Yeah.
at the
That's-
point of
that
attack?
would be my choice.
Yeah, like Cole Kmet.
Right.
If you want to get mad about
Larison.
no, running back.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he's physical at the point of attack. Okay.
Fred's going to gaslight me all summer, I can tell.
But like, if
Jimmy
you wanted
Kimmel.
to, if you wanted a tight
Jimmy
end,
Kimmel.
wouldn't like a guy like Cole Kmet would be more,
Yeah.
what they're looking for there. I think Chicago's going to keep all three of those guys and
I know.
use all three of them.
I
But
don't know if you saw Caleb Williams talking about the tight ends, where
Yeah,
they got our
they
guy
drafted
Roush that we
Roush,
talked
yeah.
about all the time. Of
Yep.
made me think about that matchup of what Patriots going to do with some of these teams. I mean, specifically Chicago that are going to run multi tight end sets. Do we have they don't really have multiple safeties that could play. Their linebacker depth is looking pretty thin right now. With KJ Britt, I think too is a little bit of like an underrated guy who's out right now, and it's like Spillane goes down. You felt okay about Gibbons last year, but it's like one of those things where you
Depth
start to
X
play
factor.
like this and that. But I think that's going to be an interesting thing this year with Chicago. They're going to be tough to stop.
I mean, all the teams everybody's loading up on tight ends and try to do the Rams thing and play 2+, 3+ tight ends at once. And sometimes those things happen and it sounds great in theory, and then you get into the season and some teams are more equipped to do it than others, and then you realize, this isn't really what we thought it was going to be. We'll see how much it really holds, but I mean, the draft alone tells you that there was 8 or 9 of them drafted in the top 100 and earlier than expected with some of those guys. So
I'd also wonder how much the combination of Sean McVay's system and the presence of Puka and Devontae Adams,
having the MVP of the league.
with the MVP throwing it to him, helps those 3 tight ends, which are all kind of average.
Yeah.
They're all good players. They're all, Parkinson, they're good players. I'm not saying they're stiffs. They're not. Someone made me laugh on Twitter. They sent me a picture of the Sonny's Car Wash. Did you see that? Yeah. It was great. They're not Sonny's Car Wash all-stars. They're all three good, solid players, but they're not. It's not like George Kittle and Travis Kelce in his prime. Right. I think Stafford, the system, and the presence of those guys on the outside makes it a little easier for those 3 tight ends.
All right, Sabah's in North Carolina. What's up, Sabah?
Hey there, gentlemen. As usual, it's a pleasure to listen to you guys. And I'm getting ready to go to Italy on Saturday, so I'll post on that. But
enjoy.
Yeah. All right, we sent our kids ahead for 5 days. All they're doing is arguing. So I said that'll never happen again. One wants to do one thing, the other wants to do the other thing. I'm like, listen, you're not even paying for it. Just enjoy it. But anyhow, so okay. First thing is all this talk about the wide receivers and all this giddiness is great, but if we don't protect Drake May, it doesn't matter. And I think the left side of the line, I don't know if it's fixed, but it doesn't look like it was fixed to me. And I think the defense is going to be like, hey, guys, let's just disrupt that left side of the line, like blitz from the right, so Drake will do the protections to the right, and then we'll just have one-on-one on the left against the left tackle and left guard that aren't good, and then there goes the play. So I'm worried about that. And my second question is, you guys got rid of Chason. I know you have that big defensive tackle guy, and you have, obviously, Gonzalez. But who is the defensive, headache causer on the Patriots that's going to disrupt other people's offense? Because I'm worried about who that person is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
I mean,
thank you.
Number
Williams and
9,
Vaughn.
number 97 in your program.
Yeah, I mean, you have to game plan for him.
Yeah.
But I think they've not last year, but they've had years where sack by committee or pressure by committee, and it was spread out, and they did fairly well, with that scheme. And I think it's looking to be like that right now. Yeah, they don't have that one guy on the edge that you have to game plan for right now.
No, I mean, Draymond Jones is a solid player. I don't know if he's quite that guy. I think the big question with pressure is, in the playoffs, their blitz rate increased exponentially compared to the regular season. So is that sustainable? Was that a product of the offenses they were playing, shorthanded offensive lines, younger quarterbacks, like things like that? Or
weather?
Can they do that for 17 games? Or is that not really sustainable or not really the best method possible? But it seemed like to me last year when they had to ramp up the pressure, they could send more guys because they have the corners on the outside that can cover. So when you need it, that's there for you. I mean, they signed Vera Tucker on the left side of the offensive line, and you hope he's better. So to that point, I think they did try to get the offensive line better. Now, is he going to stay healthy?
I would also
is the
say
question,
the wide
but
receiver improvement helps the offensive line.
Yeah, but
does.
it's not the same left side as it was in the playoffs last year. Is my my
Oh
my
no,
point.
yeah. I mean,
So
you move Wilson in and you replace him with a by all accounts an elite guard in Vera Tucker. So you should be better.
yeah, but this is why we're talking about Akis and Thibodeau and all these guys. And Akis, hopefully, I don't know if he's going to be the true game plan changing edge rusher in the pass rush, but even if he's just another guy on the other side of Draymond Jones that can, get double-digit sacks in a season, then at least you have bookends that are solid that you can rely on. But that's the one thing that seems to be the finishing piece now that they have A.J. Brown would be a true sack guy off the edge.
But I still have an eye on the 27 first rounder because I feel like this year, hopefully, you get Gonzalez squared away. Next year, you got May squared away. You have those pieces. If it works out, you've got your left and right tackle squared away. And the receivers, obviously that's ongoing. But I just look at that last edge spot, and I think Sabah makes, a good point. You have good interior rushers, but, do you have real edge threats right now? And we hope that Akis is, but it's hard not to look at the roster right now and be like, all right, well, are they going to have any juice on the edge, or are they just going to let their offensive tackles handle the edges and be like, we got to make sure we get the guys in the middle block. Don't worry about, their edge rushers. So it's a spot for sure, I think, to focus on.
Justin writes in, Christian in L.A. talked with Mr. Kraft one time, and now he suddenly knows who the Patriots are and aren't on the phone with. Christian, post up another billboard in Times Square and let Elliot cook. What does that mean, the billboard in Times Square?
I don't know.
He said something about it. Was that his company's?
Yeah.
His company?
They're not content.
They're not
always-
satisfied.
they're not satisfied. He had that whole rant when you were yelling at him.
Oh, billboard in Times Square?
I kind of liked that you played the role of Paul in that call, by the way.
It's all right.
It was good.
Matt in Wichita, you talked about the last time the PU crew was this excited about a signing earlier in the show. I know this is impossible to quantify, but do you remember someone being as excited as it seems A.J. Brown is to be a Patriot? I think the Patriots are going to get the best version possible out of a 29-year-old A.J. Brown.
Hope so.
When was the last time a guy came here that expressed true excitement about being a Patriot?
I could count on one hand the guys that didn't express that kind of excitement when they sign.
Oh.
Seriously.
I just never remember a guy with receipts of himself in like a Patriots jersey as a little kid. And
I mean, he was a Patriot.
Like I never even hear players talk about
his
them being
older
their
cousin
favorite
loved the Patriots. Yeah. The Patriots were the best team in football, and then he got a Tom Brady shirt. Like, no kidding, he was a Patriot fan. Like that sort of formed his like childhood. His childhood identity was I root for the best team. He was kind of like Fred.
Right.
I root for the best team there is in sports. Doesn't matter that I don't live there.
Yeah, I that type of I know it excites people, moves people. Like Milton Williams came in and said, I hated the Patriots.
Yeah,
he's one of their best players all last year. I don't really know how much that really.
It's just as common too to hear guys who are like, I didn't really watch it all that much. Like I didn't really have a favorite team. You hear
that was
a
like
lot.
Matt Light. Matt Light would
be
be an example of that. He didn't really watch football.
Yeah. Or I remember Judon got asked when he got signed in 2021. Why
he would be on the small handful of guys that was just
he
talking
said
about.
the question was why did you pick the Patriots? They paid me the most.
They paid me the most money. Right. He was one of the few guys that didn't express. Usually, when we bring that parade of free agents in, Drake May, so excited to play with him. Oh, and then the Patriots, the organization, the way they do things. Josh McDaniels has had so much success with the. There's a lot of excitement.
That's a question I have. Do you think that that's real? That the Patriots have been to how many Super Bowls now? 12, 13?
11.
11. I've lost track of how many. Most in the league. I mean, there certainly is a special
11,
place.
12.
This place is special in terms of the NFL. But do you think players are real when does it still have that kind of special place when new players come in here? Or is it, you know what I mean?
So, especially this generation of players. I mean, they grew up as kids, watching the Patriots. So I do.
It's either goes one way or the other, though. You either hate them or you love them.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and a lot of guys that grew up in this era hated the Patriots because they were always in the Super Bowl and they were always winning. And so it was the other side of it. But I don't know. I mean, Gronk was from Buffalo. Like, he's literally from Buffalo. He was at a Sabres game, banging the drum in the playoff run. Like, these types of things.
Would he have been better if the Bills picked him? Because it was his childhood
I know
team?
it's fun. I know it's a cool little story and connection here with AJ Brown, but
I just love the pictures of little Antonio Brown. I mean, AJ Brown. I'm imagining him. I'm just imagining him in Pop Warner. This is the kid that's just tearing the field apart with this big smile on his face.
He probably would have been better than some of the receivers they had at that time.
Brad writes in a little bit of a Debbie Downer here. With the addition of AJ Brown, the Patriots wide receiver room is undoubtedly better. But where exactly does the value come from most? There's no doubt that AJ Brown is an upgrade from Stephon Diggs. But with Diggs already being a 1,000-yard receiver and A.J. Brown only expected to get a couple hundred yards more than that, is it really that much of an upgrade? Or would you say that there is more value in the number 2 receiver upgrade from Booty to Dobbs?
If he gets a couple of hundred more than that, that's a significant upgrade. That's a big difference. 1,200 to 1,000, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a significant upgrade, by the way. Brown over Diggs last year. I think they're completely different players, and I think the reason I'm excited about Brown is because of what Mike and Everett have been talking about for two shows now. It's like having such a different kind of player who I think really fits well with what Drake May does. Mike talks about the physicality after the catch. Those are things that Diggs didn't provide. But in terms of just flat-out players, Diggs has had a better career.
Yeah.
Diggs is a better player. And last year, they had almost identical numbers.
I think that from a X's and O's standpoint, it's harder to defend the true X than it is to defend an inside receiver.
I think it makes more sense to have Brown than Diggs.
Well, that's it.
Totally
I mean,
agree.
when you talk about the addition, it's like Brown's over here. He's an addition. You're really looking at, is there a drop-off from Dobbs to Diggs?
That's how I would look at it, too.
Yeah.
And what I would worry about is what Mike Vrabel has talked about a couple of times this offseason. It's not the numbers per se, it's the efficiency. And there was a remarkable efficiency when they threw the ball to Stephon Diggs last year. I think it was did he get 85 catches?
It was
85 for 102. 85 for 102.
I want to say it was 83% of he caught 83% of his passes.
That's a remarkable efficiency that is going to be awfully difficult to duplicate for anybody, let alone someone who's coming in new.
Yeah.
That's
Jeffrey in Canada writes in,
different.
for veteran players, is there any actual value in OTAs and minicamp? It kind of seems like a waste of time for them. I think our cornerbacks will be exactly the same this season if they do or don't go to minicamp. Rookies may be new to the team players, but even that seems like a stretch. Kevin Byard knows how to play football. Is a minicamp really making any difference in his season? My theory is the OTAs and minicamps really are just another source of content for the NFL, which insists on trying to be relevant 12 months a year. And, of course, we as fans come running to the feeding trough. I disagree.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, from a communication standpoint, Kevin Byard's never played with Craig Woodson. He's never played with Christian Gonzalez, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, Robert Spillane. Maybe these guys overlapped briefly.
Here's the evidence of whether it's value. We've seen the guys that come in late or miss it because of injury or whatever. They get behind, and even in training camp, they're clearly behind because they weren't here in the spring.
Yeah. From a passing game standpoint, offensively too, timing with the quarterback, understanding with the quarterback. I think we've seen a little bit of growing pains with Drake May and Romeo Doubs already, where there's just little ball placement things, and I want the ball here instead of on this shoulder, put it on me, or instead of in front of me, put it behind me a little bit here, or whatever. But really the communication on defense of we're getting this motion or this check or this bunch or this look, and how are we answering it? Like, what's our check? What's our alert? What's our indicator here? All these different types of things is that they build that menu this time of year so that when they get into training camp, they can compete and they can get ready for the season.
It's a power of friendship time of year too. I think the coaches put value in that of, the little activities they do. I know we posted a video today of them, rescuing Pat Patriot, but I think this is a time when you're not under the gun of the NFL season. It's not that relentless schedule that you experience. You get to know your teammates a little bit as well off the field. You do some fun stuff together. You start to get to know these guys that you're going to be playing with and going through tough times.
Yeah, I don't know how important or not it is, but I would just say that the consensus around the league from people who watch and follow the league is that the level of play at the beginning of the regular season is often down. And the reason for that, a lot of people say, is because of the lack of practice time, lack of hitting in training camp, lack of these OTAs. And it goes back to 2011 when they had the changes in the offseason rules with the new CBA, that people started to complain about, say, as an example, there's no offensive linemen in the league because there's no way to simulate offensive line play without pads, and they don't get enough work. And so I don't think you can say all of those things about, well, September is really just an extension of the preseason because no one's really ready to play. And at the same time say, well, it's not really anything to begin. Now, does a 10-year veteran need to be at OTAs? No. Now, does it help Kevin Byard for the reasons that Evan said as a first time, with of course. But I understand the guy's point about it's, I don't necessarily think Christian Gonzalez, as an example, is losing a whole lot not being out there every day. But isn't it better to be there than not?
Yeah. I don't think that they're losing anything from like Gonzalez is not going to have a bad season because he wasn't at OTAs. Right. But I think that a lot of the communication thing is important. Like we were out there on Tuesday and, they hit Pop on a coverage bust over on the left sideline, and he came into like a little bit of a motion. It formed a stack. The two corners were on different pages. They both covered the same guy. Let's let that happen now so that in the AFC Championship game, it doesn't happen, right? Like those are the types of things. And then you come together and you have talks and you go back into the film room after practice and you go through the plays of practice and you talk about, what did you see? What did you see? What do we want to do here? Like that's what this time of year is about. It's mental. It's not physical. It's not like Christian Gonzalez is not going to be good enough because he didn't play in OTAs. It's the mental stuff.
Okay. Is this your birthday, Paul?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Paul.
Thordor has the same birthday, so he's wishing you a happy birthday and happy birthday to you as well.
Thank you.
Great day. Really happy about the A.J. Brown trade, but do you feel like we need to upgrade the defense? And would you swap a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 second-round pick for Max Crosby?
Deep.
I would not.
F them picks.
Me and Deuce would have nothing to do in the offseason.
I mean, now you don't have
more draft
first
shows.
round for 2 straight years.
Like we have a big board that starts in the third round.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't because I don't. Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'd be a little worried about. Now you have 2 major acquisitions with knee issues.
And older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to just hope Backus can develop into something okay.
Yeah.
Keep building.
I know. I feel like I'd feel a lot better about this if Backus had been practicing this whole time and like looked the part and was, wearing the suit correctly. But because we don't know that, such a major unknown, like whatever you get out of Harold Landry, I feel like is kind of a bonus this year. I'm not really expecting much. Yeah. So like if Backus is not what we all think he is, especially Deuce and I, then, I don't know.
David is in Florida. What's up, David?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
So first, I didn't know it was your birthday, Paul. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Put that in your phone.
So I just had 2 things. The first thing is a quick one. I guess there's a lot of rumors about Diggs maybe coming back. I don't personally care if we bring him back, but I was just wondering if you think there's any smoke to that, and if there is, do you think that that's like, how does that fit schematically? Like, is it realistic?
I guess you missed the first hour of the show.
Yeah, I would listen to Evan.
I was going to mention that.
Evan
that's all we
broke it
talked
down
about.
very, very well
Thanks, Paul.
early in the show about, the roles just solidifying. Brown on the outside, Dobbs is sort of like a flanker, and then Diggs is a pure slot. And I
Yeah.
think it's three very different kind of things.
Yeah, we broke it down.
Yeah, go back and listen to the beginning because Evan did it a lot more in depth than that.
I'll listen to that. But my other thing was, it seems to be like a foregone conclusion to everybody that we're going to regress this year. There's going to be some form of regression, and I believe that with the record, maybe.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if you still believe that with Drake May, because do you guys think it's not likely that he passes 5,000 passing yards or doesn't throw for 40 touchdowns? Like, what does that look like? And do you think he could have a better?
Nobody threw
year?
for 5,000
Yeah,
last
no.
year, so that's a high number.
Don't go by the numbers this year. It's really how is he in critical situations? How is he against the better defenses? That's what you're looking at.
Yeah,
That's what you're looking at.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think it was you, Paul, or was it Evan? I don't know. One of you guys. I was talking to you. I think
It was
it
a good point. It was me. If it was about X's and O's,
But we
it
were
was Evan.
saying, like, now that we've got more of a sample size, Drake, it was Evan. We're saying you kind of know when he's feeling it. It's kind of obvious when Drake's feeling it or when he's not
a rhythm
feeling
player.
it, And so that's like, how do you get him into that rhythm consistently and keep him there and avoid those games where, it felt like it was a little bit.
All right, we'll take a break. We've been doing this for over an hour now. When we come back, more calls and emails here on Patriots Unfiltered.
Come welcome our newest restaurant additions at Patriot Place. Estella brings a celebration of flavors with a modern fusion menu, exciting cocktails, and brunch available daily beginning at 11 a.m. Enjoy freshly brewed coffee and Mediterranean-inspired breakfast and lunch from Angel's Cafe. Craving the classics? Chick-fil-A makes it easy to grab your favorite with mobile through, carry-out, and dine-in options. Download the Patriot Place Advantage app for special offers and to earn rewards every time you visit. Patriot Place. Shop, dine, enjoy.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. Just a couple housekeeping items here. Hold on, Karen. So Doug Marrone is going to get his knee cleaned up. Okay, we work our coaches pretty hard here, just like our players. And so I think it's best is to have that done now so that Doug will be ready to go for training camp and there won't be any setbacks. So if you don't see Doug out there, that's what's going on there. We have moved, after some deliberation, the mandatory minicamp to next week, June 9th, 10th, and 11th. That'll give us Monday to clean up a couple physicals on some guys that weren't here previously. And then 3 days of really good work there. And then that will conclude, the veteran off-season program. We'll have the rookies for a little bit of time after that. And joint practices. So as well as those worked out last year, certainly the one day with the Commanders here, and then traveling to Minnesota. We'll have Indianapolis on the 11th, on August 11th, which will be, this very good team to go against. This a very good offensive football team. Shane's an excellent offensive coach and excellent head coach, but very good offensive line, versatility on their defense. So that'll be an important day for us. And then Philadelphia will come here for the 19th and 20th of August. So that'll allow us to work against an accomplished football team that's used to winning and has a very good football team and great players and well coached. The last item, where you at, Julia? Hi, Julia. Congratulations. So Julia just decided to dabble in a marathon in Oregon and ran it in 2 hours and 50 minutes and 2 seconds. Yeah, I know. And won. So congratulations, Julia. And don't keep those things a secret. So she went and dabbled in a marathon and won. What do you got, Karen?
Given your relationship with A.J. Brown, knowing him as a person and player, how important was it for you to make that deal happen?
Well, not important. I mean, again, I think that just trying to improve our football team every possible way, give our offense multiple weapons to build on what we did last year. And I think having experience with the person, to be able to add an accomplished NFL football player, receiver, premium player at his position, but somebody that we also feel strongly about as a person and a competitor and as a teammate. I appreciate Elliott for being able to work and get that done.
Knowing AJ, what makes him such a special wide receiver?
Well, I think he loves football. I think that he has a physical skill set. I think he's got great body control. I think he's strong at the catch point. But I also think as he's grown as a player and as a receiver, just the nuances of releases versus press, or playing versus bracketed coverages or zone coverages, plays physical with the football, and again has been productive and a consistent player.
You coached him. Did AJ ever tell you that he was a Patriots fan?
I think that was known a long time. I think I knew that. I think he showed me pictures when he was a little kid wearing my jersey and stuff like that. That he didn't wear my jersey. I think I knew that just from the time that he, when we drafted him, he was like, I wish the Patriots drafted me. And I said, well, that didn't happen. The Titans drafted you. So, I think that there's the success that this team had in those years when a lot of our players were growing up. It would be easy to root for a lot of players that played for this team in the early 2000s.
He had a tumultuous time in Philadelphia, despite the production and success they had. Why are you confident that won't happen here?
Again, whatever happens or comes up, I think that I can't say that there's not going to be things that come up with AJ, with any single player, right? I think that this is a competitive game, highly competitive. Players want to win. Players want to do everything that they can to help their team. They want to make sure that people are on the right page. So I don't get into a lot of that. I think that what's the most important is that those things don't carry into the locker room, that they get handled. And you see that all the time on the sidelines. We want to have conversations in a meeting room. We want to have conversations at practice. And, sometimes those conversations are animated, but it's all in the sake of trying to get on the same page and get right. So, again, I don't know what happened. I'm not trying to figure out what happened in Philadelphia. I'm trying to focus on what's going to happen here, and trying to get him acclimated to what we do and how we do it.
Mike, there's been a lot of reporting about him having a degenerative knee condition. You're obviously comfortable enough to make the trade for him, but is that something, because of your past history, you gain a little more comfort, and you will have to manage this player though going forward?
Well, there's a lot, again, when you get to talk about 90 guys or 91 guys, there's going to be a different plan for every single guy. And again, I think that looking at the body of work and the availability that he's been able to have, and whether we have to manage him or anybody else, it's a long season. So, there'll be things that we'll have to deal with, and we'll try to do that accordingly. But, just based on looking at, his availability in the games that he's been able to play in and be there for his team, I think that hopefully, leads to future availability.
Mike, what do you know about AJ that you hope we and his teammates learn about him?
That he loves football, that he cares about his team. I think he is, knowledgeable, and again, I think that he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. Nobody does. They have to go out there and practice. They have to know what to do. They have to play to a certain identity and do their job and focus on that. Nobody needs to do anything that's outside of what we've ever asked any of our players to do, and I'm confident that he'll do that. And he's humble. Like these are. I'm excited to have him get to know our players, and our players get to know him and everybody else as we work through the last couple weeks here.
Is the plan for him to play under the contract that he had with the Eagles?
I mean, he's been here a day, so the plan is for him to practice and try to get acclimated. I don't see anything that would preclude him from doing that. Right now I just excited to add the player. I know the football team is looking forward to having him and practice and get acclimated and whatever that looks like today. So, by all accounts, he's ready to go.
You gave up a first round pick to get him. Do you view this as a win now move?
We have to, we have to win. That's our job, is to win. That's the job and responsibility and the expectations in the National Football League. It's not to go 4-13 2 years in a row, if that's what you mean.
Mike, what went into the decision to put Julian Hill on IR?
Julian won't be able to play the season. That's plain and simple. So devastating, awful. I really enjoyed the person and want to have him around here as much as we possibly can. But just because he wouldn't be able to play this season. So, that's just disappointing because of just the impact that he made in a short amount of time with his teammates, and then just the person that he is, the way that he practiced. And, so again, we want Julian to be a part of us as much as possible. He's just not going to do that on the field this year.
Was that a football injury? Was that something that happened in practice?
That was something that happened in practice, yes.
Can I confirm, did AJ already take his physical? Did he pass? If so, and what do you expect from his practice? It's participation today.
Yep, AJ passed the physical, and we'll be out there in some capacity. We'll have to monitor it, just because he hasn't been with us, and so I think it's important that we do that, but also important that he be out there and kind of see how we do things. I'm sure there's 32 different stretching routines and 32 different individuals, and kind of where everything goes. And I think that's an important process too. And hopefully he can, know enough to line up and take some snaps in some of the team periods as well.
You did run it wide, but 88% of the time, I believe it was last year with the Eagles. You mentioned the intelligence. Do you see him as more of an X in your system or more of a chess piece you like?
Well, I think all the guys right now are going to learn a lot of the different positions. I think that the ones that have been here, that's how Todd's tried to install the offense, is to know what each player has on each concept and learn it that way. And I would imagine that AJ would do the same, and give guys the ability to line inside of Kyle or line outside, and use Romeo inside. So I think to try to just right now he's going to have to learn one position, and I would imagine that's going to be outside. But as that grows, I know that will be across the board, and I think that that's hopefully something that he's looking forward to do. But you have to learn one before you can learn them all.
Mike, I'm curious, with the event with Drake the other day, what was it like to just see the team come together in that way and show support, and also kind of have that low competitiveness, but also just the camaraderie of a team?
Well, I think it just speaks volumes to Drake and Michael, just the people that they are to organize something like that for the fans, and where it was, and the amount of the families that were out there. That's 10,000 people, and I would say most of them were families. The support that he got from the players, and I could imagine when they saw that it may rain, that guys could have bailed on them, and I think it was just an amazing night, a fun night. A little bit of competitive. Some guys that I thought were better at soft. Marcus Jones played a hell of a second base, and I was pretty impressed. And I think the guys had a good time, and it was for a great cause.
I think it was like the crying face towards Christian at one point. Did your competitiveness come out a little bit?
No, I was not. I was trying to coach, and the umpires were not interested in any of our replays that we thought. And at that point in time, it was 7-0. I was like, we're gonna have to try to keep this thing close, and they didn't want to try to do that. So just having fun, and it was great to see Gonzo and everybody else that came to support Drake and Michael.
And now, great moments in history.
And quick movie trivia. What famous movie director produced a 1971 film with an up-and-coming movie director? But what? We don't know who that is. Anyway, the answer is Francis Ford Coppola. But
he did a TV show.
What famous movie director produced a 1971 film with an up-and-coming movie director? But, that could be anyone.
Who's the up-and-coming movie director?
He said Francis Ford Coppola.
No.
Oh, in that?
Well, yeah, it sounds like there's two different guys, right?
Yeah,
two different
I
directors.
don't know. Scorsese and Coppola?
Clarify.
Did they do? I don't know. The movie was American Graffiti, and George Lucas was the director. Oh, okay. I got to keep reading.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. All right, we've been talking about the depth of the wide receiver room and rumors and all that stuff and everything else. Will the defense be better? What do they need? We're excited. We're excited.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I mean, I'm excited for the schedule. I'm just excited to watch some good games. Like the kind of opponents that get your blood going. It's like last year it was like, all right. I mean, it was totally different frame of mind. I think that's part of why people are excited is I remember at a certain point, maybe it was around when they were getting Moss, and it just felt like every year the Patriots were in it to win it, and they were getting players. And I would remember sitting there being like, do the other teams want to win the Super Bowl? Why are the Patriots the only team going out and getting Randy Moss? Anybody could have had Randy Moss. He's sitting there for whatever it was, 5th round pick, and now it feels like you're getting back to that point, and you want to watch good games. You want to go against the good teams. I don't want to hear about the schedule next year. I want they're going to lose a tough game to a good team. All right, that's what it is, but I'd much rather watch that than see them beat up on some crappy team and then everyone tells them.
I don't mind that
didn't learn
either,
anything.
but
There'll be something
just
else.
a few.
And the easy
a couple Jets
schedule was
games.
last year.
Right.
This year will be something else.
Right.
They'll the quarterbacks will all get hurt and they'll face a run of backup quarterbacks or something. It's always something
Is that what's going to happen to the Rams this year? Matthew Stafford's going to just go down, and they got this super team, but then they're going to have to
knock
turn it
on
over
wood.
to Simpson.
It can happen any team. That's the worst part of the NFL are the injuries.
Yep.
It really, it's very frustrating. All right, back here on the phones, 855-PATS-500. Eldred calling in. What's up, Eldred? Hey, back in the truck.
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
All right.
Yeah, I'm back in my natural element.
Hey, yeah.
Question: any of y'all worried about Gonzo deal might not get done? And what they might do afterwards?
Maybe a little bit, but there's so many other things right now to talk about and think about that. I'll let that take care of it. But let's see if we get into late training camp and it's still not done, and there's signs that he's not happy. I'll get worried.
I'm not worried yet, but until it's done, it's a concern.
Yeah, it is.
I'm a little worried. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried.
Yeah,
because all the additions and everything we getting, and because I don't like it. Like I said the other time, they got us placed ninth to win the Super Bowl if we get there, and a lot of skeptics not going.
Well,
Evan, gonna shoot you a bone, buddy.
Cool.
Hey, I got so many Panther friends over here, and if you read what you call, Brazzle getting high praises all over. and they said we got 1 and 2. But like I tell them, you got a pea shooter to throw it to them. You ain't got a cannon. I wish we had the cannon. So that's all I have, and y'all have a good one.
All right, thanks.
Nice.
Biggie
I
always brings it.
I always love to hear that the spring OTA standout guys like best shape of his life. Watch out for this
Best shape of
guy.
his life,
I love it. But
Hey, the phone calls sound really good today. Like, did we do anything? Like, crystal clear.
Great
Everyone
job,
seems
Matt.
to have a
Good
good
job,
phone.
Matty.
Like, there's
Crushing
no
it.
bad connections.
You simply,
I did it.
You simply take credit. Do not shake your head. I don't know. I mean, you simply
I
take
tweaked
credit.
a couple- I
I
tweaked a couple
I
things.
noticed the last couple of shows there was some
I have something
static. I
called
tweaked.
integrity, Paul. I
I tweaked a
apologize.
couple of things, Fred. I thought that might be the solution. I didn't want to mention it, but yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
you're welcome.
There was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot.
Gonzo
Anyway, I'll
extended.
go to this email from Kakar in Jacksonville. I completely understand why the Patriots need to move on from Booty, but I have a feeling that he will be the first wide receiver to be successful on another team, specifically the Chiefs or Bills. Paul?
Interesting.
You were saying the whole
Yeah, I'm not going to
narrative of when players leave here, none of them do well is not true.
No, there's plenty of guys
I mean,
that have come
Jacoby
and gone.
Myers is one.
Yeah,
Let's talk about wide
I
receivers.
mean, I know it was a
that have
long
done well
time
elsewhere.
ago.
Kenny Moore.
There's
There's some famous ones.
There's a lot of guys that have come in. That was largely true for a small section of like 01, 02, 03. They would like let some guys go. Ty Law led the league in interceptions, and somehow everybody said like nobody whoever leaves here ever does anything. Adam Vinatieri left here and is in the Hall of Fame now. Like, it's just not true.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones is always the big one for me.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Chandler Jones had like a 8-year career after he left the Patriots. Was one of the best pass rushers in the league.
I just don't know if you have one where it was somebody like a N'Keal Harry, somebody who was a high round pick that you were really counting on that just couldn't do anything here and then went. Like your examples are kind
N'Keal
of
Harry,
like
yeah.
veteran guys.
Like Deion Branch was fine in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, but
And he came
veteran
back here,
guys near the end,
later.
it's time to part ways. Not
Yeah.
a big deal, but those are the ones that like
Tyquan in
that
Kansas
would bite
City.
you in the butt. Yeah, Tyquan and those are the ones.
Yeah, I
that
would say
were like,
Jacoby Myers is probably the
Yeah.
best example
Yeah.
of a guy
By
who did
choice.
well
Yeah.
away from here.
Yep.
But I think that speaks more to the guys don't do anything when they leave here at that position because you've had a hard time drafting that position.
And they trade a first-round pick for one, and everybody thinks it's too much.
Yeah.
BBNNH, happy birthday, Paulie says. I'm a fellow Gemini.
Thank you.
The twins. I dated a Gemini once. I'm not. We should have Alex here. She's on.
So
Yeah, I have no idea
So
what that
BB
means.
is celebrating his birthday by skydiving tomorrow.
Oh wow!
Would you do that, Paul?
Good
Would you ever
luck.
skydive?
No.
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 No?
I'm a
I
scared.
don't think I would do it.
I would.
I'd be scared
I'd do
to
it
do that.
once.
You would. I could definitely see you doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe not now.
Would you have to be strapped to somebody though? Like,
No, I wouldn't want to
you
do
would-
that.
No, I could see Fred
I
wanting
actually
to
think
do
you
something.
have to
It's a
be.
little
most
bit
of the
I'm an
time.
individual sport
Having a
kinda
guy on your back,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's gonna be.
I like the ones that you do where you sign the
Kinda-
waiver and stuff. Like I don't think they do let you go solo anymore.
No, they don't.
Not that
No.
I've seen.
Yeah.
So I would do it, but
Got some,
You would do it. You're an
Yeah.
adventurous type. Yeah.
I just
Not
don't want
me.
another.
You?
Nah, I don't really have a desire to anymore. It's the same to go into space. I don't really have a desire to go to space anymore.
we
I don't even like roller coasters,
Man.
let alone.
I would love to go to
skydiving.
space.
Speaking of space, I watched that movie Project Hail Mary.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
It wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good. It's
a nice
You know,
story.
thought provoking. Not as much as Interstellar, but I thought it was a good movie.
Harmless, good ride.
A little quirky at times.
Yeah, it's fun. Ryan Gosling's great. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
he brings
So talented.
funny. He's going to a Star Wars movie
And what
too,
else?
I
do you-
guess.
Funny.
Sexy.
Yeah. There you go.
Sexy. Smolder.
It's okay.
He's got the
You
smolder.
can say it.
Couldn't you just say he was good looking? You had to say he was sexy. You had to make it weird.
Good looking's one thing, but Ryan
good.
Gosling is
And I-
sexy.
I-
But he's a
Good-looking guy.
liability in coverage.
I also went to the theater and I saw Mandalorian and Grogu.
Right? We talked about that a little bit.
I like that movie. A lot of the Star Wars people were like, they didn't really need, it wasn't that good a movie. There was no point to it. It was really what that show is.
Yeah.
Like, now, do you have to make
There's
a
no
movie?
point?
No, you could have made that into the season and made that one of the plots. But it was a good, fun movie.
That's what I said to my
Yeah.
son. I was trying to challenge him a little bit, and I was like, "What would you say the difference? What's the plot of that movie? What was the story though? Because there's definitely a plot.
Yeah.
There's not really a story. Like you don't really go anywhere with the Mandalorian. I mean, he's just he's the Mandalorian. He's
Yeah.
there's no like advancement of his character. And
No.
but we saw it in 3D. It's a summer movie, 2 hours. I wasn't like, I got to get out of here. It's too long. It was
well, the whole thing with Mandalorian and Grogu is all this stuff is happening in the background of the last 3 movies that came out. You know, so
Yeah.
this stuff was happening like 5 years after New Hope, and so in the meantime, there's this still struggle between the rebel. They
Yeah.
aren't the rebels anymore, but the
leftovers,
Alliance
right.
and the old Empire that are trying to cobble it back together again.
Yep.
You know, Mandalorian is just like a little side story.
Yeah. No, it was
Yeah.
fine. It was fine. I need Grogu though to advance a little bit. I'm like, he's cute and he doesn't know what he's doing. Like,
Yeah.
let's get him played out. Let's
Well,
like, I want to see like,
but he's
you know,
gonna live like 1,000 years.
I know, but
you
let's
know?
just accelerate it a little bit. Like I want to see like, you know, like tween Grogu who, you know, he's a little irresponsible, you know, but he's not like can't figure anything out. Like, I mean, he can't figure anything out. We played that beat out.
Right.
We my algorithm has now picked up like people are sharing their biggest nitpicks with Star Wars. Like the whole
Cool.
thing. Like it can be anything from
Ah.
anywhere, you know, like I guess in Phantom Menace in the scroll at the beginning it says 2 Jedi Knights are like going to the trade negotiations and Obi-Wan's not a Jedi Knight.
He's still a
Yeah. Yeah, like little things like, but it's like little things, like not like major plot holes. Like
I'll just say my thing with it is that I have no idea if they knew that. I don't think they thought Darth Vader was the father in Star Wars, and they definitely didn't think Leia was the sister in the second one when Luke's like she's kissing Luke like 5 different times.
I was gonna say they
Like,
kiss. So
that
I
was
hope
all
not.
like
I mean,
the-
unless
like,
this is Game of
what if-
Thrones, then you know
you need like a big thing for the movie, and you're like, what if? And I'm not 100% sure on Darth Vader though. I think they're like that because that makes too much sense. But I don't think he had it. I think he, you know, I was like, you know, it'd be cool. It's like he's his father, and then that's the big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they made out. It was weird.
BB and NH also says, what is the PU crew's favorite part of the off season, whether football related or not, and what does the crew think is the most important or pivotal part of the off season for the team's development and success?
My answer for that question is the same: the draft and the draft.
You love the draft.
Well, to me, it's May's development and the O-line improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is, you know.
It's a good place
I
to
like you,
start.
May's development part. Yeah, I mean, if he continues to rise, the team will as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Matthew writes in. He's from Saskatoon, I think. S-A-S-K.
Yeah, sure. Saskatchewan.
Could Saskatchewan. Could be
Well,
Saskatchewan.
it's Saskatoon is in Saskatchewan.
He says he has a concern for Mike.
Uh-oh.
2 requests and a football question. Happy that Mike's procedure went well and he's back at work, but I'm concerned that the doctors might have missed something when diagnosing him. I've noticed that Drake May has cut back on his shoots in his press conferences, but now Mike seems to give at least one shoot every podcast. That North Carolina twang is known to be highly contagious, and I hope Mike can get the help he needs.
That's fair. We do. I do slip into Drake mode sometimes, just around. Yeah. You know, you just
He
throw
has
a little yeah. Or,
somebody. Maybe it's not conscious, but it does feel like he's cut down on the years.
Think he's gotten a little
He's getting-
training?
yeah.
Maybe.
Jerry Madelon or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
He's getting some media savvy.
SJ doing his job.
I don't know if it's media savvy or just him becoming more confident in himself and more used to talking to these people, and he recognizes all the faces and
because he loves it so much.
yeah, right.
2 requests are: 1, can you start using Evan's Return from Practice song again, as it is easily the best and catchiest theme song from the PU crew?
No.
Well, I have to return. Well, it's true, but I have to return from practice.
Right.
It's got.
We don't
be
know how it's
organic.
working this year. We'll figure it out.
And 2,
I don't know about that.
2, Paul, can I get an Elijah Verataka one time?
Yeah.
The first time you said it, I couldn't control my laughter because of how naturally it slipped out.
It is so true.
Verataka.
It's a tough name for me, and it definitely elicits the Boston.
Do you get more
Verataka.
Boston accenty the more beverages you consume? Because that's
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
really?
me.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get loose.
Yeah. All
Loose
of
with
a
the
sudden,
Rs.
all of a sudden, I'm like, you know, from like a townie, like put a couple.
That what happens?
Nooners in
Have
there.
we ever seen Evan with a little bit under,
Yeah.
under the influence?
I mean,
Yes.
Morel has. He's nodding.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much as the
Super
travel
Bowl,
party.
Germany.
The travel party. That was. I'm sure they've seen other sides of it. I heard stories about Evan in Germany, but I don't know how much we
those stories are dead and gone. We don't need to repeat those.
fell off a scooter. I think I don't know.
Still
There was
have
a
the
lot
scar
going
to
on.
prove it.
Okay. Did you fall off the scooter because you had been drinking?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
He was on the scooter
I think
because
because
he
the
was
driver
drinking.
had been drinking. He wasn't the driver.
No, at first, but then I got on my own scooter.
That was Yannick, I think.
I don't even
Jan?
remember.
Thought it was Teese.
All I know is that
Thought it was Neil.
Is that
Oh.
Yannick
Throw 'em
had
all under
us
the bus.
drinking some sort of German hard alcohol that none of us had any idea what it was or what it was called, and like we were all just like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Just trust me, just trust me."
Hoffensuppe.
And then
Right.
20 minutes
Yeah.
later, I'm on a scooter going through Frankfurt, and I'm like, "How did I get
Holding
here?"
on to Matisse's hips.
Yeah.
Oh.
Slower, Matisse.
Fred go, whoa.
Now to end with a serious question. Since
That
we've
wasn't-
given up on a 2028 first to acquire A.J. Brown, there's been talk about recouping that pick in a trade. What player could you see that might realistically be traded to get 2028 first in return? Well, Gonzo, but he says so. No Gonzalez.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else. I
Well,
mean, because if you traded like Milton Williams or something,
Yeah.
maybe.
I
but-
mean, the things that you could trade
short
to get a
list.
first-round pick, you don't want to trade.
Yeah. Drake. You don't want to
He'll
trade.
probably
Drake.
get a
You don't
first
wanna
round.
I would say
trade.
I
Could
would
probably get a first
I
rounder
wouldn't
for him
trade
right
Drake
now.
for 3 first-round picks. Let alone one.
Right.
Easy, Adam.
Right.
Nick in New York City says, I love hearing Paul cite stats. Now, Evan, will you please give a take or two based on your gut that has no statistical evidence? There you go.
Wow.
So Evan would argue
Ew.
that I was not actually spouting stats because I was doing actual numbers that everybody is well versed in.
I thought that was good.
Whereas
though, Paul.
we have like ADOT and
Yeah.
EPA.
But it's a
and-
good way to sum up. There's only one ball, and you got receivers, and there's everybody's got to get
So
theirs.
I would do it,
Yeah.
with target share.
Target share.
Because
Oh.
that takes how many pass attempts, Fred's thing, how many
See?
times they attempt to pass,
And we're here.
and
And we're
divides
back.
it by how many targets, because each team attempts a different amount of passes. So it's to make it all equal.
Boom.
But I was just sort of going apples to apples.
Yeah.
And just talking about, and again, I was looking at this in relation to Keishon Boutte because I had one listener on Tuesday sort of was making the point like, well, why can't Boutte do what Alec Pierce did? And, he only had 47 catches and he signed a $100+ million contract. And I was like, he also had 1,000 yards.
Right.
Like it was 20 more catches, but for 500 more yards. Like that's a huge difference between Boutte's year last year and Pierce's. And yeah, you could make an argument that Pierce was third or fourth on the hierarchy for the Colts in terms of targets, but look at the production. And I would say that if Keishon Boutte somehow in 2025 is able, 2026 rather, is able to get 1,000 yards, he's going to put himself in line for a big payday. He will, because people will look at that and say, all he needed was more opportunity. And then when he got it, he showed you that it was not a fluke that he was making those big plays. He was capable of making more of them if he gave him the opportunity. I just don't think he gets those opportunities in New England, and I think he thinks the same way, and that's why Adam Schefter had that comment about him. He's seeking a trade.
Yep. Zach from Cincy. Zach's from Cincy. I know the Giants have been active at wide receiver, so I'm not sure how much they could use someone like Boutte. But if Thibodeau is available, is there any world where there could be a trade involving those players and maybe day 3 picks? Seems like all the recent Super Bowl champions have had good depth at edge.
Yeah, we did a little bit of this yesterday on Catch. Right now, at least if you believe what the reporting, it sounds like the expectation would be that Thibodeau would move for like a 4th-round pick, maybe even a 3rd-round pick if you want to win the bid. Jalen Phillips went for a 3rd-round pick at the deadline last year. So somewhere in that range, and I don't think Keishon Boutte's value is anything close to a 3rd-round pick. Maybe, so I think you're going to...
But Boutte and a day 3 pick could get it done.
It could
to the
Boutte
emailer's point.
and a 4th or Boutte and a 5th be better than just a 3rd?
Yeah, and the Giants
Or the 4th.
supposedly are looking for a day 2 pick, not a day 3 pick.
Yeah.
But if you add Boutte, maybe they take a day 3 pick.
Yeah, I mean, they signed guys off the street. Like they signed Odell, they signed Juju Smith-Schuster in the year 2026. Like I don't think that that's going to deter them if they think Kayshon Boutte is a contributing player. Signing Odell Beckham in 2026, I don't think is going to make them say we don't need Kayshon Boutte anymore. They sound like they're worried about Neighbors' knee, and based off the softball game that he played in the other week, for same kind of deal as Drake May had with the Patriots, he wasn't moving too well. So I think that they're a little bit concerned about not only his knee long term, but also like when he's going to be back this season, with that injury. So maybe they would be.
Yeah. Dan of Virginia in Michigan. On Tuesday, Fred asked for a sponsor for the segment, What Caught My Eye? At which point, Paul noted that Mike had been watching one certain player all through practice. Given Mike's infamous reaction to a large running back that caught his eye, perhaps the segment sponsor could be Viagra or Farmer Henry's eggplants.
Oh, nice.
Those are the same thing.
Nice.
If Christian in LA is so determined to be mad about the Patriots not broadcasting their trade moves, here are some other things he could be mad about. The stadium groundskeepers not looking for a four-leaf clover. The equipment guys not exploring the use of pastels for the Patriots uniform. Gillette Stadium security not hunting down Bigfoot. And that sloth from the Goonies who stole Christian's catchphrase 41 years ago.
So I was thinking Evan last night, that pastels, that pastels comment, kind of resonated.
Yeah.
Watching the Knicks Spurs NBA playoff game, I could just imagine how mad Evan was watching. Did you happen to? You didn't see it. Well, I look at him like
they're
he's
still
actually
playing
seen
basketball
it.
these days.
They had
NBA
every
finals,
other
dude.
section was in a different sort of pastel T-shirt.
Oh,
in
God.
San Antonio, it was a different,
Evan, that's
different
like your
kind of look.
nightmare.
Oh God, trust me, I've already complained about it
Yeah.
off the air, not on the air. But apparently, there's some sort of it's like a festival that's down in San Antonio
Yeah, I
around
think
this
so.
around this time of
South
year.
by Southwest?
I don't know what
That's
it is.
in Austin.
I don't know what it's called, but it's apparently why the shirts are the colors that they are related. It's like a connection to the festival that goes on. It's kind of like the Red Sox like marathon jerseys,
Right.
like where there's a connection. So I people are getting finger wagged for not understanding the culture of San Antonio.
Okay.
But the one thing that I was a little bit disappointed with San Antonio last night was like you could audibly hear the Knicks fans cheering for the Knicks down the stretch last night of that game. And I was like, this is supposed to be like a small market, this is like our team, our city type of team.
Right.
And there was at least 25% Knicks fans there, and I was pretty surprised by that.
A
Interesting.
lot of money in New York.
They were making a
They
lot
got
of
a lot of
noise.
money to spend.
And
That'd
it
be
wasn't
tough.
just Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet. Like there was
Chalamet.
fans.
Some San Antonio fans probably made a lot of money selling their tickets.
Yeah. Disappointing
That's poor to
result.
Evan.
Yeah, it was.
Nick in North Dakota,
Buy a
happy
car.
birthday, Paul. My son's birthday is tomorrow, and he shares it with Mr. Kraft.
He
That's
does.
right. Mr. Kraft's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, I wasn't invited to the party.
No.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
My
pal.
question is in regards to the Patriots heading back to Germany this season to play the Lions. With all the international games added the past few seasons, where would everyone's dream destination be for the Patriots to play? And you can't answer Foxborough at 1 p.m.
I'm out there.
That's a good one.
Actually, I'd be on the road at 1 p.m.
Where would your dream place to play for the Patriots? I mean, Hawaii. We were talking about Hawaii earlier.
I don't know. I don't really
As long as I can stay a week. Like, you don't want to just go in on
I'd like-
Saturday and leave on
I'd like to go play a game in Hawaii. That's a good one for
I
me.
honestly don't have one because, sorry, but Foxborough or at 1 p.m.
Like
is what we want. I don't really like, the long trips too much.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say for us.
Right.
As we're not fans going to the game and enjoying.
But what
the
would
game
make it worth the long trip?
Paris? Now that they,
Yeah, I thought that'd be cool.
now
No?
that they're going
Okay.
to Spain, I think
Right
like Barcelona sounds really cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool.
Okay.
Spain,
Yeah.
I would do Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
I was just trying to think of a place that I hadn't been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even dare think of Australia because I know you would yell at me
No.
for that.
They got nothing for us.
How do we
Patriots Unfiltered Tokyo would be amazing.
Oh God.
Plus, it's
no.
too far.
Too far.
Yeah, I don't have a huge
No.
desire to.
There's just a lot of it's
Will
not
loved
it's
it.
not a vacation, and then it's in the middle of the season. Then we have to come back, and then you turn around and do it again, and it's
Sounds
just,
like me. Then
What
you
was
got to
it?
click on it.
Click on
What
it.
was it like being
Too
at the that Mexico City game whatever.
Heard
that
it was
like
it.
10 years ago.
It was
I mean,
interesting.
I did not make that.
We stayed. Mexico City is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
But we stayed in what would be they're considered their like Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive area.
Yeah.
So it was nice within that area. But the minute you go out, you have to be, escorted by guys with machine guns and trucks and helicopters.
Nice.
I'm not kidding.
Got the
Literally.
cartel on you.
So in that way, it was kind of weird. It was a good experience overall.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been to an international game. It'll be interesting to me how the fan vibe is different, from the pregame to just how they react to things, within the
was
game.
interesting because like the Jaguars played so much in London that they do have maybe some adopted fans over there at this point that that felt more like a Jaguars home game than, let's say, the Patriots game in Frankfurt felt like a Patriots home game because of just the sort of the way the stadium set up and all the Jaguars stuff and all that. The Frankfurt game I felt more like we're truly in a neutral site here, whereas the London game they may be a little bit more used to having the Jaguars over there. I would say on the list now of places that they have like Barcelona and Spain would be.
I would do
probably
Spain.
number
Spain
one.
would be good.
I guess
good
it's
trip.
Madrid this year, right? Not Barcelona, but either way.
What would be kind of cool is going like to Dubai and playing there because like that place is wild. Like they have like 7-star hotels, and if you could stay in one of those, and they'd probably build like a stadium just for this and everything. The outrageous money they have there. It might be cool to check that place out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a little hairy.
I thought last year's road.
Well, now it would. I'm talking
last
about
year's road
if-
schedule
right.
was perfect.
Yeah.
All basically Eastern time zone, short flights.
Not this year.
That's let's stick to that.
Let's see. Tristan from Alabama. Is there any chance we can get both Deuce and Evans practice tracks on vinyl, along with some bonus blooper clips,
Sure.
maybe?
Yeah.
Vinyl.
To get the B-side.
Tracks. I don't get it.
Your
songs.
Your practice songs.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Gotta
now.
release it. EP,
Bradley says, I just saw Fitzy this morning tweet that number 8 may be occupied very soon. Is there any reporting of interest you've seen in Diggs after they signed Brown, or is he being a weirdo? Fitzy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Fitzy's being a weirdo. I think there's been a little bit of a groundswell the last couple of days. I don't know if it's rooted in anything real, but people have talked about it a little bit locally.
Yeah.
Nick's in Connecticut. Mark's in Connecticut. What's up, Mark?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Paul, happy birthday, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another good
Evan,
quality
I
call.
meant to give you a jingle yesterday because I wanted to ask you about the tight end position right now. With Julian Hill going down for the season, this kid Tanner looks like a big, muscular kid that can move some people around. Was he undrafted?
Yes.
Yep.
Do you think he's got a shot to take over that that role? Does he got the size to do it?
He definitely has the size, yeah. But he, to me, is he's like a 6th offensive lineman. Like Julian Hill, I think was a little bit more athletic and could do a little bit more blocking on the move and in space. Whereas Tanner Arkin is a true like inline, hand in the dirt, like almost like a Who-Man type, where
262.
Yeah, so
Big
different skill sets. Like they get it done in a different way, but. If you were looking for that other tight end, that third guy to be like a true blocker, then he would be my favorite right now out of that group. Him, Dupree, Westover. But he's like I said, he's a different kind of cat than Julian Hill.
Yeah, he can move people.
Yeah, Julian Hill is more, he's more of like a move piece, like the guy that could get out in space. And I was really excited about what Julian Hill was going to bring to the table. That injury is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
It's kind of like losing the fullback last year. I mean, not that he was that player, but
yeah. Luckily they still have Gilliam, but yeah.
David in South Carolina writes in an alternate universe, where would you change the outcomes of past Patriots Super Bowls? Would you lose 2004 against the Eagles if it meant you won 2017 against the Eagles, which back-to-back would be more important? lose 2016 against the Falcons if it meant you won 2007 against the Giants, greatest comeback versus the greatest season, or lose 2014 against the Seahawks if it meant you won 2025 against the Seahawks. So
No, I think
so.
I-
Okay, so the first one, lose 04 and win 17.
No.
So if you win 17, that gives you 3 in a row? 16, 17, 18?
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't.
But then,
You don't have a dynasty. If you don't
yeah,
have a first
it
dynasty.
really
No one-
screws up the early dynasty.
No one's ever done 3 in a row.
No, that's true, but you'd have to wait all that time to get there. I don't know. Anyway, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Lose 16 against the Falcons, which of course is
I'd do that.
huge.
I'd definitely
if
do
it
that.
meant you get the perfect season.
I would
I'd
trade
take the
any of the
perfect-
Super
any of them
Bowls
for the perfect season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. And then lose 14 against the Seahawks, but you beat them last year.
No, I don't. 14 was one of my favorites, so I don't think I could trade
Yeah,
that.
then you don't
one.
have the Malcolm Butler
You know.
interception.
Yeah, it's worth a discussion, but I think I agree with the
Drake will have
first,
another
the first
shot at
Seattle
it.
one because I don't want to get into it, but I think people would still say, oh, they were lucky to get there. Bo Nix got hurt and they had the easy schedule. Like people would still mock it.
Yeah. Right.
And
right.
the other one, what are you going to say?
Yeah,
It's two of the best teams in football went toe to toe, and you
good. I
won.
Maybe
like that.
two of the best
I like
teams
that,
in
Paul.
football history.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
talent on the field in that 2014 Super Bowl is tough to
I don't know
beat.
about that, but yeah, I think good teams.
I think those two. I
It's
think
like Bizarro Fred in this show. He's here to point out all the things that aren't as good as you think they are about the Patriots.
Best teams in football history?
easily.
Easily.
Yeah, I think the 13 Seahawks that won the Super Bowl and then came back with basically the same team in 14, and then the Patriots in that in 14.
I think that's your youth talking. But anyway,
I mean, it was 15 years ago. It wasn't like it was like
so dismissive.
Dude,
I think that's your youth talking.
over a decade ago.
Back to the
speaking
kids.
of youth, Bedard, your guy.
My guy.
We're talking about Gonzo and getting his deal done. Bedard's like, I'm not so sure I want to do that.
Oh yeah.
He thinks that his performance in the Super Bowl was overrated, and he's not so sure he wants to sign him to big money. That's what he said.
Okay.
Is he just being a contrarian,
No,
or
it's-
what's
there's,
going on?
There's people that have talked like
I think
that.
that's his youth showing.
Oh,
I like the shot there. I would just fall back in the argument I made Tuesday. I think if you want to be a draft and develop team, you drafted this guy, you've developed into one of, at worst, 5 best players at his position.
Yeah.
I think it's an important position. I think I've heard a lot of stuff coming out now that, corners aren't as important. The further away from the ball you are, the less of it. I don't buy any of that. I think the value of a shutdown corner, to me, it only comes down to whether or not you think he is that good. And if you do, then you have to re-sign him. If you don't, then let him go.
Yeah.
See, I feel like this is a good philosophical discussion of draft and develop. And what does that exactly mean? Because you could make the argument that drafting and developing means once that player hits that second contract, you're extending those players and keeping those players. Or you could make the argument that you go back into the draft and you just draft a new Christian Gonzalez and you don't have to pay this Christian Gonzalez.
That's what Belichick would do.
But
And
which
I don't
one's
li- I don't
drafting?
like that.
Which
right.
one's?
Which one is draft and develop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say draft and develop is you keep your guys
Draft,
that you've
develop, and
developed.
retain.
Yeah, that's my. I totally understand what his
Yeah.
distinction
Draft,
is.
develop, and cash in.
Because
the
like I
chips.
feel
You constantly cycle through them.
right. Because like I
So
feel
sooner
like
or later, you're not going to hit.
when we're talking about at receiver with Keyshawn Boutte, like they drafted Kyle Williams. So a draft develop team probably wouldn't overextend to keep Keyshawn Boutte. It would rely on its drafting and its scouting and its ability to evaluate
No.
talent and keep Kyle Williams.
I understand that. I just think that's an imperfect comparison because Keyshawn Boutte is not Christian Gonzalez
Sure.
of wide receivers.
Sure, but like
You
for
know.
example, just to be more apples to apples,
Like Marcellus Dial, I don't need to retain him. That's the Keyshawn Boutte comparison, like a late round pick at that position.
So the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs and drafted Justin Jefferson. So they drafted Stephon Diggs, they developed Stephon Diggs, they traded him for a first round pick, turned that first round pick into Justin Jefferson. Is that are they a draft and develop team or did they not do the you know what I mean?
Well, they
I would say that's the opposite of draft and develop, and I say that they made the best of an imperfect situation. You had a guy that was really good for you, and you decided you didn't want to continue, and just so happened that you got a guy that was even better in Jefferson. I mean, that's good drafting. I just don't want to hear the guys that tell me how hard it is to draft and then say that that's my philosophy is that. Like, I don't care how good Stephon Diggs is. I'm just going to let him go because I'm just going to draft the next guy. Because you tell me how hard it is every year. It's an imperfect science. And no one gets them right all the time.
Right.
So
But now
if
you can just do it.
that's your plan, then you're going to lose.
Yeah, I think it might be position specific a little bit too. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think you have to make choices of what positions you really want to value, and you know, even if you develop everybody, you can't keep everybody. And maybe there are times like an elite player like Christian Gonzalez.
You can't keep everybody. I get that.
It's great, but if you have, you know, you drafted and developed a very solid, just let's say a guard, you know, and I can't fault a team for saying, you know what, we're going to reallocate those resources. And yeah, it's a little iffy trying to get a guard in the draft, but not like trying to go back and get another elite 1A
Like, to me,
receiver.
Mike and when you getting retained made sense. Like, you drafted him, you know, a day 3 pick. He turned out to be a good player for you, and you retained him, and you got 3 more. Well, this will be the 3rd more additional season that you got from him. I think that's a good example of draft and developing. But that doesn't mean I want to just maintain every guy because I drafted him. I have to keep every one of these guys. Like, Kayshon Boutte's a good case study that Evan brought up. He's been good for you. You've certainly gotten good value out of a 6th-round pick. I would say Demario Douglas as well. No, as 6th-round picks, that's good value. I don't need to retain both of those guys. I don't need to retain either one of them if I feel like I have better guys.
Yeah, and but you acknowledge that as a organization, we haven't drafted this position well. We've had a bad track record, but we've had a good track record with this. Does that come to influence? You know what I mean? Because I still feel like it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, just because you haven't hit a wide receiver forever, it's like you still might. But
I never operate under the premise that I'm not going to get a good one at that position because I haven't gotten a good one at that position. I have to think that the next one's going to be good.
Regime changes and everything.
Yeah.
My bigger thing with Gonzalez is not that they're going to not retain Gonzalez, but at some point, and Elliot Wolf talked about this with Jory Epstein in Yahoo Sports, like Drake May's contract's coming, Christian Gonzalez's contract's coming. Like, there's going to be guys that you can't keep them all and you can't pay everybody. So I'm not worried about them moving on from Gonzalez, but if they're going to pay Gonzalez and they're going to have A.J. Brown on the team and then Drake May's extension's coming, like, where's the money going out? Because right now the money looks like it's only going one way and it's in. At some point, there's going to have to be some money out, and who are those guys that eventually the money's going out?
That person, by the way, you were saying how everybody thinks that they overpaid.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe that that's all that the Eagles got for him. So, not everybody thinks that they overpaid.
A few emails I want to just get to that caught my eye as we get to the end of the show. Rhett writes in, we were talking earlier about how all these wide receivers, especially if they did bring back Diggs, would affect the running game. Rhett says, I think Vrabel said run the ball more effectively, not run more. With all the wide receiver
More consistently.
QB, yeah,
that is correct. That is his quote.
With all the wide receiver and QB talent, they should not be running the ball more than throwing unless they're playing with a big lead.
I never said they wanted to run the ball more than they threw it.
No, he's not saying you did. He's not saying you did.
But just saying, I think that they want to run the ball more. He's right. The quote
I might have said it.
The quote that Vrabel had was he wants to run more consistently.
I know.
But I think if you do run it more consistently, it's going to lead to more attempts.
I might have said. They got very conservative in the players, and they don't need to play scared. They've got the talent now. Let it rip.
They weren't conservative in the playoffs. Disagree with the whole premise.
Eddie in L.A., I didn't know Timothy Chalamet was at the game. All I saw was young Freddie. Well, I don't know about that. No, he's too skinny. I wasn't skinny.
Very skinny.
I know this is all just talk, but would trading either Thibodeau or Sweat ruin the Akis project? I feel that trade right now would mean he'll be sitting this year.
I don't think so.
Let's worry about that if it happens.
I think all these teams, the good ones, are rotating these guys a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Seattle had
Seattle did. I couldn't even tell you the names of the guys.
Yeah. Wosu.
In L on Star Wars, I believe that George Lucas has said that the original plans for the sequels, 7, 8, and 9, were going to center around Luke searching for his sister. So Mike is certainly correct there. Vader, on the other hand, I think was always Luke's father.
Yeah, no, it's possible. It's possible.
Well, there were books written on Star Wars.
There's what's it?
Canon.
Yeah.
Whatever they call it.
So, yeah.
I do think when Obi-Wan explains it to Luke in the original Star Wars, he does seem like he's kind of lying to him a little bit. Like, there does seem some pauses, like he's delicately crafting this story. So I do think that speaks to maybe it was already in there, but
I think in every one of these serials, you have to have some
plot holes.
No, you have to have some mechanism where somebody is somebody's parent that you didn't know about.
Right.
You know?
That's how
Oh,
you
you mean
gotta
that Ray's
keep it
grandfather is Palpatine?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
Oh,
you
my
know,
Lord.
There's like, I don't,
Fantastic.
3 hours
And you
into the
found out
last
about who
movie.
Jon Snow finally was and all that
And he's
stuff.
boinking his aunt. Yeah,
Yeah.
you remember.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for this week's Patriots Unfiltered. I've made the decision. Next Thursday will be 3 to 5.
Okay.
3
There
to
we
5.
go. Decision made.
The,
I like it.
the emails have come in. It's unanimous. So, all right. So let's one more time the schedule for next week. Matt Morrell, the floor is yours.
Tuesday, Patriots Unfiltered.
You got to turn your mic on.
Turn your mic on, Fred.
My mic's on. Your speakers were down. Patriots Unfiltered on Tuesday, 11 to 1. Catch 22 on Wednesday, 4 to 6. Patriots Unfiltered on Thursday, 3 to 5.
All right. Awesome. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.
I'm waiting to hear from Allie about what they're doing. Are we gonna have a venue? Are we gonna, you know, it's gonna be worked out? Yeah.